Hello, Parvision. How are you doing today?
Hello, Mr. Sinful Psyduck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can call me whatever
Okay.
you want. You know,
Man
I've
of
been
many
called a
names.
myriad of things. Yeah, Civ, Sid. Like it goes many directions.
Sid.
And you know what? I never correct anybody because I don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as it starts with an S, cool in my book. But today we got Parvision here, and we're here to talk about the latest One Piece chapter, One Piece chapter 1101. Kind of a tongue twister when you really think about it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It
It
is.
got me a couple of times.
Yeah. I
Being
just say
Asian is like it's
1101.
hard. 1101. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, 1101. I need to
Yeah.
start using that. I'm gonna steal
Yeah.
that for the next chapter.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Steal the theory strikes
Yeah,
again.
Steel D theories here. I think I heard somebody actually made a Steel D theory account, and I'm rooting for him, man. Like, quick, steal all the theories out there, turn them into your own
Accounts
YouTube videos. Do it.
accounts is fine, but are they putting out videos? Because there's I don't know if you've seen this. You might have there's like that one YouTube, I think it's YouTube, or no, maybe it's Twitter. Like there's an exec that like actually is important, and there's like 12 verified accounts, and like three of them are hers, but then like the other one are parodies, and you're just like, wait, what is this
Oh, I
person
love
actually
that.
saying this crazy thing? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
The idea of stealing D theory has been around for ages now. It's been around since the Void Century.
Yeah,
I
steal
love to
the
see it.
identity, you know.
Steal the identity,
Yeah.
steal the wallet,
Yeah.
rob the store. Like,
Oh no, his cousin.
yeah. Scam D people.
We just the funny it's like in the story their first name would be Steele, or their last name, their family name would be Rob and Steele, and then you just name them Store, Wallet, like Monkey.
Yeah, dude, that would be so good. That's like some Dragon Ball naming scheme right there, right?
Yeah, yeah, just vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, vegetables and fruits. Oh, here's Kakarot. Here's Vegeta. There's a Broly. Like, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure everybody knows it's like vegetables and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah. Piccolo's a flute or something else too.
yeah, there's a new guy called. They're called Ceruleans because they're all cereal, and the guy's name is Granola. Like
Oh,
it's so goofy. And then there's Weiss for whiskey, beer,
yeah, yeah.
beerus, margarita. Like it's. I
I
can't tell
like
if it's genius or lazy. I really can't. Like I can't
oh
distinguish it.
no, he's lazy, but I like it.
Yeah, it's a good lazy, right? It's a
Yeah,
feel good lazy. You can almost predict what's coming next, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I
yeah.
think
I
there's a
like
character named Pizza coming pretty soon.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not to be
turn up.
confused
Where is he?
with
Yeah, it's that's like the One Piece theories in Dragon Ball, right? Like
yeah,
it
that's
doesn't take as many brain cells. Not like One Piece takes many brain cells either, but I feel like Dragon Ball, the bar of entry for theory crafting is a little bit lower. You
the
just have to know your fruits and vegetables.
tie it back, we now know that the Usopp pirates, the veggie pirates,
Oh
are
my gosh.
isekai. They're
Yeah.
from the Dragon Ball verse.
Yeah, the Usopp Pirates, that's where they came from. They came from the Dragon Ball universe. Honestly, I
Yeah,
think they did pretty good. I feel like they'd be built up to be like Sans or something.
or like Goku's final villains are just Usopp's children, like Usopp, like the kids. They grow up to be like because they're vegetable names, so they're Saiyans, right? So
Yeah, wait. I don't know if you know this, but there's a new Dragon Ball anime coming out pretty soon called
I
Dragon
heard,
Ball Daima.
I
And
heard,
they're
I
all
heard.
just little kids. So, I mean, technically the Usopp Pirates would fit right in.
Yeah, if
I
we
mean,
get
well, they're like
carrot,
teenagers
celery.
now, so they'd be pretty OP, right?
Yeah, pepper, no, carrot, celery, and onion, right? Watch out, guys. You'll never know
Watch
what.
out, boys. These guys are gonna kill Goku for the fifth time. I just love how they handled death in Dragon Ball, though. Like, last thing about Dragon Ball, but whenever somebody dies, I remember I was watching the Resurrection F movie, and
Uh-huh.
Piccolo got slaughtered. And
Uh-huh.
what I think it was Krillin or Gohan, they're like, "Oh no, Piccolo! I guess we're gonna have to revive him next week with the Dragon Balls." It's like, damn, dude, they don't care at all, man. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if we did that for Kuma. Oh, Kuma! We'll just bring him back next Sunday. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude,
Low
that's
key,
hilarious.
Vegapunk is almost there a little bit, but like, yeah. Last thing on Dragon Ball, they took such a power, like people dying was such a powerful, meaningful thing, and then by like whatever Dragon Ball Z, like the third thing, it was just like So finding the Dragon Balls is like really easy, right,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Like
You got the scouter. You got people who can fly around the earth in like less than a minute. Like, yeah, it's over, dude.
everybody,
Like,
like if you can't fly by like this season, you're just not a
you're
character.
trash, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
you're a monkey. Like
did multiple people die? Well, just go to Namek. You got 3 wishes over there, you know? Like,
yeah,
the dragon is stronger. And then they just keep on introducing stronger and stronger Dragon Balls. Like there's the Dragon Ball
the
Super,
God
there's
one.
the Super Shenron, which can do like
Yeah,
universal wishes. And then
yeah.
in the latest manga arc, there's a dragon that can make super strong wishes too, and you only
Uh-huh.
need 2 Dragon Balls to do it.
What? What is
Yeah, I was like,
that?
why? Like, it was already easy. You know, why make it a 2 Dragon Ball requirement, man?
Do you
My
have
mouth
to
was
fight
agape,
somebody?
dude.
Like if it was like Dragon Ball GT where each Dragon Ball was a dragon and you had to fight it, okay, that's fine. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
that's
love GT
crazy.
because of that. Because GT was like, hey, you guys
Yeah,
make too many dumb wishes. We're gonna get rid of the Dragon Balls. Like it's over. Like you can't do
yeah,
this anymore. And there were stakes, and I was like, yo, like Dragon Ball GT. I know people clown on it, but it introduced some decent ideas. Like you
yeah. The
can't
concept.
argue against it. It
Yeah,
really did.
and on the
It
note of
added
like
stakes.
meaningful deaths, which is a thing in One Piece that we need to eventually like in reflection the community is going to be like does Oda like what happened here, why does he, and it's like an old school thing, obviously Dragon Ball, One Piece, all that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
with Vegapunk, right,
Yo, the
like
cover.
well that there's that, but there's also like Shaka, right? Like my guy, like the people died. Like where's the care for them? And is it just because he could just revive them? You know what I mean? Like
I
he could
think
just have the
so.
clones.
Yeah,
And
like, dude, if Shaka dies, I'm not gonna cry, right? Because it's like, well, the dude was made out of nuts and bolts. He can be rebuilt. Like, you know,
wait,
it's
but
no big deal.
did you see the thing? Someone tagged me in it right after my live stream, so I didn't see it. But in the
No, what's
color
up?
spread, Oda had put skin on Shaka on his
Well,
neck.
yeah, I mean, well, like, what? York has skin. Lilith has skin. Atlas has skin. It's not that crazy.
Well, okay, so well, like with
It's like a no,
we've
I don't want to say that on a video, but like you know, like sometimes you just want to mimic skin on some product, and that's what it
okay,
is.
okay. See, but like Lilith, have we seen Lilith and York like bleed? Because York we know is like a robot, like a robot thing, but has the skin over top. But like some of them are probably like actual human people. They just like clone the organ stuff, and we don't know yet about the Shaka side. So
Yeah, and you're not wrong too, because in this chapter, Vegapunk's like, "Hey, Stussy, you're not a clone. You're a person, right?" Like he
right,
kind of yeah, Vegapunk. Yeah, he cares. I think just so much has happened here in Egghead. There's not really time to stop and mourn. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but
Like
Vegapunk was like is
Saint
this close
Saturn,
to
come
being in
on.
the he's this close to being in the Dragon Ball verse of like, oh no, another satellite bit the
Ah,
dust.
somebody's dead. I mean, what Atlas got like destroyed, rocked by Rob Lucci. And then
Yeah.
what? She came back like nobody's business. They're like, oh hey, you know, like there's organs over here, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Like
only Lilith
that was
cared, and
literally
everyone
it.
else is like, well, she'll come back in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, she'll be back in a little bit. No big deal. I mean, that's how I
Yeah.
feel about most of these like satellites, right? Like Pythagoras got stomped, right? Like this dude's not coming back. Shaka got his head blown off, and I don't think anybody even said anything, right? Like nobody said, "Oh
Yeah.
no,
Bye.
Shaka,
Good.
Pythagoras." It's just like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, but like with Shaka, it's like he's coming back. Like that one's a weird one. The
Like I've
other
never been a
ones,
fan of like Toy Story, and
uh-huh.
it's like one of them dying, dude. Like who cares? Just go to Walmart, get a new
Okay.
toy.
I don't endorse this message. If you're in the comment section and you like Toy
What do you
Story,
mean you don't endorse this
I
message, dude?
like Toy Story. What do you
Oh,
mean?
is that like your childhood? Yeah.
I mean, it's not particularly like my childhood, but it is childhood. You know, Toy Story was dope.
Fair,
Except the new,
fair.
apparently they have. We could talk about this on the 50/50, but they have a reboot, I guess, or they're making another one, and it's just the most. It's like the weirdest concept ever. It's like, wait,
I
hold
can't
on.
wait till it's just Vegapunk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Vegapunk's the kid just throwing the toys away.
yeah, it's
No, I
no.
gotta be real though. I've never watched Toy Story, so that's why I don't like it.
Oh,
I
Toy
never
Story is
had a
dope.
chance to watch it.
Yeah, that's all right. If you, I mean, if you haven't seen it and you don't have the feels,
But
that makes sense.
it's like Italian food, right? Like I don't have to taste it to know I don't like it.
Oh no. Did you see the first time in the comments it was they own like two restaurants in Venice and they were just very upset at you. And I
Were
was
they
like, listen,
really? Hey,
yeah,
yo,
I was
invite
like,
me to the restaurant, dude. I'll try it out, man. You could
oh,
pop the cherry. Why not?
yeah. I said that
Yeah,
there's a
I'll find out what
backstory.
Italian food's all about.
I said that there was like I didn't say what the back. I just said like if you understood why, it makes
There's
sense.
backstory to my phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's fair.
there's something there.
Yeah.
Bart said it's fair. It's fair. Sai doesn't like Italian food. Yeah, it makes sense. I
get
have a
it.
Kuma backstory. It's a little Kuma flashback with just me and Italian food.
It's just a little gross. So
Yeah,
it's
we're like at God Valley. I'm like looking up. I'm like, why were you made with marinara? And then Saint Saturn was like, you're kind. We're born to be tomatoes or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh jeez.
a little spin off. So the color spread, man, we finally got some of the colors for the satellites here, and let me tell you, I really don't like the blue on the Vega Force one. It's such a off-putting blue. I know that's a personal thing, but I don't know. It's One Piece, of course. They want to like use all the colors, right? Eventually, if everything looks cool, if everything's like black and gray, and this cool metallic sheen, it's all gonna feel samey. After 1,000 chapters, of course, you're gonna have some robots that are just blue. But I don't know.
Yeah. I want to like
Not my ship of dreams.
yeah, like he doesn't have like not an interior designer, which we actually is relevant to this chapter, but uh um because did you see the Henny bottle? Like Vegapunk's like when he designed Egghead when it's like
Oh
half of
yeah,
it,
yeah,
just in
yeah,
the middle
yeah.
there's just a bottle I was like, whoa. I didn't know Vegapunk was psi coded like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how many people caught that, but yeah, if you look closely at one of the first shots of Egghead Island in this chapter, there is like this wine bottle just in the middle of Egghead Island for no reason, because it's not
Yeah.
there present day, right?
No.
Like I think I went back and looked, and it wasn't
It's
there.
not even a bottle of wine because the wine has like the form factor where it's smooth. It's not doesn't have that ridge. So this is like a wine like it because it needs to settle on the side. So if it has that bump, wine bottles are the smooth things. It has like the Henny. I was like, yo, Vegapunk's a hard drinker. What the fuck is happening? Like,
Yeah, Vegapunk's
yeah.
he gets wild on the side, man.
Yeah. But with the like he doesn't have anyone choosing the colors or whatever. He should have asked Stussy or
Yo,
something.
Shaka with the like dark green turquoise-ish suit. I don't know how I feel about that, man. I feel like a lot of people invested in the black suit, and we got kind of not catfish, but let me just say it right here. But Par actually cosplayed as Shaka, and now it's not accurate. It's not manga accurate anymore.
Yeah, I was low key.
I honestly I thought I was gonna call you a fraud earlier, but maybe it's not your fault.
I mean, to be fair, right? I didn't have any of the colors, and I think to this day, the gold mask looks cooler because the cool, like the gold mask looks cooler. The black and gold, black, white, and gold. It's just why not for Shaka? Have
It's like the Katakuri thing, right? Like people thought Katakuri had like black hair at first, like oh he's like a total BA, and then it came out it was pink or like this rose color, which I think actually worked out pretty well. I think Katakuri's hair turned out pretty good, but
yeah.
Shaka was a straight butcher.
So like
He did not hold
Shaka.
back on him.
One of my viewers actually this year cosplayed as Shaka with the official coloring, and it looks
Oh,
dope in person. He made everything. I showed his cosplay on my Anime NYC stream, and it looks great in person. But even he was saying like, man, like when you did it, it was sick because he did it because he saw me do it last
it
year.
was sick, but let me tell you, you're going with your head cannon on those colors, Par. What are you, blind? What do you
And
not buy the official?
I wish
Yeah.
though he could have done his thing with the black and white because his looked dope. But if it was black and white, it would have been even doper. But like now we have all the colors, and it's
We
like
only like the black and whites here. No Asians, no yellow.
I wish like the Vega Force
Heard.
one was like maybe like I would like a giant yellow. You know what I mean? Like I don't know with the blue accent.
Yeah.
Like flip it, it might look sick, and it would still be.
I
childish,
like
but,
I like the black and gold. I think the black and gold is just slick.
No,
I
I'm
like
saying
how we're
for
just talking
Vega
about
Force
colors
1.
now.
Vega
For
Force 1.
Vegapunk.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Vegaforce 1. Yeah. I feel the same way.
Because if Oda wanted to do like a bright thing, I think flipping it would have been sick. Like yellow base,
Yeah.
blue writing with the white red accent. That would have been kind of sick.
Here's the thing, though. I think the blue red on the Vega Force One makes so much sense because
Mhm.
it looks like the General Frankie and the Frankie
Oh,
Shogun.
okay.
Like it, Frankie, he based his models off
No,
of
wait.
Vegapunk's designs. So
General
it makes
Frankie's
sense as to
silver.
why it's like that. What's up?
Isn't General Frankie's mainly silver with the blue hair, isn't it?
Shoot, I don't know. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure General Frankie's just, it has like a red band on the waist, and then it's
Oh,
mainly,
you're right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, my head cannon painted that blue.
It
Well, he
makes
has
no
he ha-
sense
well,
that
he
way.
has like blue sideburns, blue hair. He got the
That's
blue
just his skin.
arms.
That's just his
He's got
skin.
he's got some blue,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
They're
but
not colored the same, but they share all of the same main colors.
yeah,
How
yeah,
about
I get,
that?
yeah.
Let's twist it a little bit.
But to be fair, Frankie at least made it look after himself. But here's the thing: how cursed would it be if Vega Force One was just a Vegapunk, just a giant version of
No, I think that'd be cool. Wait, maybe not like a 1-to-1 Vegapunk, but if the Vega Force One was like
yeah.
a Chad version of Vegapunk, right? Like imagine a Vegapunk with like big muscles, like a chiseled jaw,
Yeah.
have you seen those memes where the guys like they play that Baby Don't Hurt Me song
Uh-huh.
and it's a trend, it's just like,
And then they turn the head. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They
they
do the
turn the head.
kids.
Yeah. Just do
Yeah.
that, but with Vegapunk. I think that'd be so cool.
That is so
That'd be
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Low key.
That's what I would do. If I had to make a robot after myself, I'd machismo it up.
Yeah, yeah. And ironically, Kuma couldn't get any more Chad. He already has like he is the Giga Chad meme. Like that's the funny.
Yeah.
So
He's the
technically Oda
Crimson Chin.
yeah. Oh man, the Crimson Chin's such a fun memory. Funny
It's
memory at
good.
least. Oh god. Yeah.
So speaking of the Crimson Chin, he's at Mount Kalubo, right? We
Yeah.
see Luffy doing a little axe. And then we get a flash and we see that dragon. Oh boy, how did you feel about this dragon getting some dialogue? Whenever dragon gets dialogue, man, I eat it up, right? Like I think dragon's dialogue in this one chapter alone, it went up at least like 30%, right? Like just the
Like it's
amount of
fine.
it, dude. It's crazy.
Oh yeah,
We
the
actually learned that he cares about Luffy. He's been spying on Luffy. He said, yo, Luffy's my weakness. If you talk about him, if this gets out, you're basically condemning me to death. It's like, dude, I love the memes about this because I thought this was awesome. I didn't really think too deep on it.
uh-huh.
But some people have been drawing like little fan arts of Luffy suffering and dying throughout the arcs and Dragon's just sitting back, like throwing up a beer. Like, oh, you got this, Luffy. Like it's hilarious, but I love it though. I think this is one of the few moments where I'm like, yo, Dragon, A1, A1.
It was funny when I was reacting because people were saying like I precogged it, but like I was trying to make a meme on Cole because I was hanging out with him recently, and so with the axe thing, when Luffy did that, I was like, "Yo, he precogged Arlong a year and a half before, and he was practicing this shit for
Dude,
like."
that's hilarious.
Yeah, and I was saucing it because I was trying to meme on Cole because like he did something similar when we were in person. I'm like, stop, like that's so crazy. You just said that, and it was about Shanks, obviously. And then we scroll down, and when Luffy says that, I was like, it's not crazy because obviously it's not like foreshadow. Like Oda put that in after, like it already happened, so it's just a funny thing. It was just crazy that he said that. But as far as the dragon thing, it low key, it's kind of a similar way. Where it's like this dialogue goes really well with the whole chapter, but with this part, this is exactly what we were saying, right? This makes sense. It's like, yeah, we got 30% more dialogue in total from Dragon. Great. Went from ellipses to two bubbles. Cool.
Huge, really.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think half of it isn't even meaningful because like I think most of us could figure out like a child is their parents' weak spot. That's that's a deep line, right? Like when I read that, I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't think
But
too deep.
Pard,
Like,
he's a revolutionary.
yeah,
He doesn't hold the same values as everybody else. What are you talking about?
and whatever people,
He doesn't care about his family. What?
yeah, people were
He would
like,
murder Luffy with his own two hands if that meant the revolutionary could go on.
and that's like the nuance of like when you sit back and read the entire chapter, you're like, I said this at the end too. I was like, you look at this scene and Dragon and Kuma are the same person, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Kuma is the version that had their child exposed, and the world leveraged his child against him. And he's literally Superman. Like he showed up in this chapter like Superman and Batman combined. Like at the end of what Dark Knight, where or even Spider-Man too, where they're like, oh my God, he comes in at when we need him the most and he saves us and he doesn't even get a thank you. What a guy, what a Giga
He
Chad.
doesn't say a word.
Yeah, and he's like doing that, but like he's still like leveraged by Bonnie, and like you get the understanding that if Dragon was put in that same spot as Kuma, he'd probably be in the same thing. Which personally, later on, when he has that dialogue of like, I'm sure Kuma has his, I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm like, he told
Yeah,
you.
Kuma has his reasons. And here's the thing. Now it makes sense why, we were laughing at this the other day. I remember this. It was pretty funny at the time, but when Kuma was like, I often find myself wondering, what would Dragon do in this situation? It makes sense now because Dragon actually cares about Luffy. It's like, all right, you know what? It's a good line in hindsight. Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
So
I'm so glad.
A child is their parents' weak spot. Great line to me. And we talked about this. We said like, in order for Dragon, like 30% more dollar, great, right? But to come back from what we experienced, we need way more. And
No, I think this is hyping it up. I think this line.
I think it's good. I think it's fine.
This line is gonna bring Dragon to Egghead. I mean, obviously you're gonna get people who are like, Luffy's a Yonko, like Luffy doesn't need help. You're disrespecting him, but Dragon read the newspaper, right? Luffy's in trouble, like maybe not in trouble, but he's barricaded with his best friend who's about to die. Like,
yeah.
If there was a time for Dragon to show up and show off like that he means this, I think he'll be here on Egghead, bro. It's gonna be good. This is gonna be the year of the Dragon, right? What the Chinese Zodiac's coming out. It's like Oda's turning into Gigi Akutani from JJK. He's paying attention to the dates now. It's getting crazy.
Plot twist.
I love it.
Luffy is not Dragon's son. He actually went there to leave Stelly there, and because you know who Stelly's parents are? He's the adopted.
Imagine, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be so crazy. Like Dragon shows up in the next couple of chapters, but he's actually saving Damaro Black. He's like, my son.
Yeah, just that
Damaro
so
Black,
crazy.
the fake Luffy. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Just wait for it.
Memes aside, right? I think the really important line that I think was the real value here was, if you keep talking about this, you may as well kill me yourself. I read that, I was like, yo, that is so that we went from 0 to 1,000.
Yeah. When he said that, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, damn, brother, he was just asking a question. But also, how did Kuma know? Kuma was just like, hey, by the way, I went to this village and there was a young boy there. Like, we don't know what Kuma was gonna say, right? Like, there was a young boy there. He was a little bit goofy, right? This guy dropped his ice cream. I had to buy it for him, like Smoker, right? Like the little girl touches him, like, oh, my bad, Smoker. And then Smoker's like, no problem, kid. Like, what if it's something like that? Kuma was just gonna tell a heartful story, like, oh yeah, there's a kid at the bar drinking orange juice, but Dragon's just like, stop talking. It's like, brother, like you don't know what he was gonna say. And how did Kuma know that this would even pertain to Dragon? Like, is Luffy the only boy in that entire village? Are there no other kids?
Yeah,
like, what if he meant like one of the fodder characters we met from chapter 1, like one of the kids just running in the background? How would you correlate them? Of course, Luffy says, I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm going to be king of the pirates. You know, maybe that's why. And Kuma's like, hey, it's a little bit weird that this young boy did that. But he didn't say it. Like, for all we know, Luffy is sitting in the village with his thumb in his nose, and Kuma's like, yo, Dragon, this is your offspring, isn't it?
So, and it's funny because like this
so
is
funny.
Technically, like, we don't necessarily know when this Kuma Dragon interaction happened, right? Because Kuma Dragon, that's probably before Kuma's on the island with, like, seeing Luffy as a 16-year-old. So this is like when he's younger. So like Luffy might not even be saying like, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, I'm gonna be king of the pirates or whatever. This could even be like, oh no, it has to be after Shanks, right? So
yeah, I think it's after Shanks.
Sometimes we don't necessarily know exactly because it's not like Kuma's running around the dragon now. So like you said, I had the same reaction. I was like, you, like, Dragon, you know, how did he wasn't he did it?
Well,
There's
he
so
kind
many
of gave himself
ways.
away, right?
Yeah, like he says,
Yeah.
you seem familiar with this island. Not only that, but when I went to stretch my legs earlier, I found a remote village on the outskirts. There was a young boy there. It could have been like it could have been like
It could have
this
been
kid.
Ace.
He could have said so many things about this boy, like you said, but it could have been like, oh, like this boy likes chocolate ice cream just like you do. It could have been similar, but you even if someone said that, like, so he likes chocolate, what are you trying to say? Right? Like what could Kuma have possibly seen that Luffy did that would have been like, ah, it must have been your kid, Dragon. There's an
It's
island
one to
full of kids.
one.
Yeah, yeah. You seem like is Dragon not familiar with other places he's been to? You've been
Does
all across.
Dragon think Luffy's the only kid in the world?
Yeah, like Dragon's the equivalent of like extreme paranoia, and he's just like, oh, he's on to me. He knows everything about me. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I
Like
had this.
imagine if you go up to Dragon during this time, you're like, "Hey, Dragon, I was in the East Blue, and there was this kid," and then he's like, "Kid, stop talking now." Like,
You
that's
may
it.
as
It's
well
game
murder
over.
me with your two hands. If you speak another word, I might as well
Yeah,
guillotine
Dragon's
myself.
like, "Who hired you, assassin?"
Yeah.
It's a world government agent, guys. They've
I'm like,
infiltrated our ranks.
I put
That's
like
hilarious.
put
That's
myself
so
in
funny.
that shoes. Like I'm talking to you, right? And then you respond, if you keep talking about this, you may as well kill me. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, like, and then Kuma's like, what do you mean? Like he's casual. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, Kuma was
Yeah.
so confused. Like it was so genuine. He was like, "Huh?" I was like,
And then he goes, a child is their
Oh.
parents' weak spot. It says like he gives it away, and then Kuma's like, that random boy I saw was actually your kid? Oh my god, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
I'm so sorry. I'll forget what happened. Yeah, I didn't see nothing, man. No big deal. No big deal.
Kuma
That's
is just-
so funny, man.
Yeah, yeah. There's like 9,000. Like Dragon said a lot for no reason, and Kuma had to process all of it in one
You know what?
second.
I'm gonna say right here, Dragon kind of pulled the who's who. He kind of pulled the who's who. Like you gave him an inch and he took it to a mile. Like where Jinbei like
what?
never asked a single word about like Sun
Oh,
God Mika or
yeah,
the
yeah.
Cipher Pole or world government or his backstory, and he just kept on going. It's like, dang, dude, all right. Like I love it, right? I'm eating it up. It's a Thanksgiving roast right here, but dang man, I didn't ask for this.
Like,
But thank you,
at-
Dragon. Thank you. I
At this
appreciate
point,
it.
I'm
I appreciate
surprised that when Dragon was talking to Ivankov and they were on that balcony, and Ivankov's like, "Oh, Dragon, you always look towards the east. I wonder if you have..." And then Dragon, if you just insert this line, "You may as well kill me yourself,
Yeah.
Ivankov." It's like, damn, bro.
Yeah. Imagine Dragon says that to Ivankov. And Ivankov was like, "Hey, you look to the east a little bit." Dragon's like, "Shut up right now, Eva. like you might as well have 10 swords at my throat.
Yeah,
You're like the 6 pounds of pain stabbing Jiraiya. You got me in a chokehold."
send me to
Like, damn,
down
dude.
level 6 yourself.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Like put me up at the Santa Logtown, why don't you?
You might as well just call up the Holy Knights right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. God dang. You might as well hold my entire family hostage, why don't you? You'll kill all my loved ones while you're at it, Ivankov.
it's like looking in the wrong direction with Dragon is just like like you can't.
You
And
took
I
it to
would-
the extreme.
Yeah, and like look, as much as I was memeing about the paranoia, I do feel like that's gonna be a core thing with Dragon because of this whole like how far does the he goes like a child is their parents' weak spot, right? And in line with that, right, you see right after Luffy goes, "What an awesome finishing move." Crazy that he named it. "I'll save it up for when I'm against a super strong enemy after I set sail and get my crew. I got to be ready for when someone tries to take them away," right? And it's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful lines that like age, like it summarizes a lot of Luffy really well, which we didn't get at the start, but we get now after knowing Luffy, and it's like, wow, it's a good feeling that Oda included that. But like with Luffy, he treats his crew like his friends, like his family, and like Nakama, right? Like that's so much meaning. Whereas with Dragon, we've been memeing about it. He treats his friends as if they're nothing to him. And like obviously, guys saying with a joke, but like with this thing, you can kind of grasp that like if a child is their parents' weak spot, and that's ultimately like Kuma gave up his life for that, and Luffy would do the same. Luffy, well, not for a child, but like a friend or whatever, right? And now it's like now we can code like all of Dragon's relationships with like he probably never wanted to have relationship with anybody because everybody would be used as like leverage for him. And I was thinking like what a cursed like existence low key. Like he wants something done and he just wants to keep it business, right? But everybody loves him. He has that same Luffy aura, right? The way Ivankov like is in Impel Down for years. We don't know how long, but apparently like 20 years or something, 15 years. And they're still devout. Like Dragon hasn't peeped towards Ivankov's direction. Doesn't even know when to leave the prison. Still's like, I'm listening to Dragon by the book. The moment he needs me, I'm there. I'm like, how do you even know he hasn't spoke to you? And every single person around Dragon's thing is like that, where they love him like a Luffy, but it's not reciprocated in a similar way, which is like the crazy nuance because it might be like Dragon wants to, but like this line, I gotta be ready for when someone tries to take them away. And it's like, how many times has someone been taken away from Dragon and he couldn't save them, right? And that's kind of the nuance that we were talking about. The like Dragon probably has a crazy backstory, and that backstory probably relates to this like sentiment where it's like when Luffy was on Sabaody or post Marineford, or post Sabaody, and Kuma got rid of his crew, right? I got to be ready for when someone tries to take them away. That means like this move was prepared for a Kuma, right? On Sabaody, because
Yeah.
Kuma was the person who ultimately did that.
Anybody who
right?
snatches up the friends, dude.
Right. And so like it's so like the way Oda meshes that
Even a
together
Rob
with this.
Lucci.
Right. And like all it like that sentiment's there. Now imagine like a dragon who had that but couldn't do anything. Whereas like Kuma, yes, took them away, but he was
I've been
on
saying it,
Luffy's
man.
side.
That dragon flashback gonna slap.
Yeah, it's gonna
Feel it
actually
in the
slap
veins.
people. Like it's gonna
It's
get
gonna
out of
be
this.
good. I like, and here's the thing, man. We can make that's why we got to get all of our dragon licks in now. We got to make fun of them while we can before the stocks get good.
Yeah.
We got to laugh about it now before we can't laugh at it anymore. It's like Kuma, you know. I always said Kuma was a horrible character, didn't care for him. And then,
Yeah.
but I always said when we get the flashback, it's gonna change. And let me tell you, Kuma's a saint, bro.
Yeah.
Kuma's awesome, man.
You know what it is?
Definitely a top 10 character.
We're like
It's good.
we're manipulating the market right now. The stock is low and we're buying. We're buying, but we're also slandering. We're like, oh,
Yeah. We're
Dragon
making fun of it.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but meanwhile on the
Insider
side,
trading. Insider trading.
put it in.
Yeah,
Buy
like
every-
I love Makonnen. We're just over here cooking some cocaine or something. It's huge.
yeah.
You know what's funny? I would have loved it. So Luffy's practicing the battle axe. I would have loved it if he was doing this on some sharks in the ocean or something. I think that'd be hilarious.
Like
I think it's a missed opportunity from Oda. Like there should have been like a little pond and like a little fish in the river, and then Luffy's just killing the fish. I think that'd be great.
low key thought that like Oda put a crocodile in there, and I'm like, is that supposed to mean so? I mean, he didn't do it, but
Yeah,
like
he used Gomu Gomu no Storm on the crocodile.
yeah, he's like, but
There's
and
a
then there's
flamingo
like
in the background. He uses like a bouncy man attack or something because he
I
doesn't have Gear
love
Fourth yet. Oh.
as in your face as a reference that would have been. I would have loved if Oda put all the animal warlords like as animals just in the background watching Luffy.
Yeah,
That'd
they're
been
just like
so
mouth
great.
wide open. It would have been
Yeah,
hilarious. I feel
yeah,
like he should have done that. That would be good.
yeah.
Good laugh. Good laugh.
Like it'd be funny. It's like now if Oda decides to also like recode like Luffy leaving the village, we see like yeah, there's just a group of the warlord animals just like in traumatized like
There's like
oh,
a bug in the background, like,
oh god,
dude. Oh wait. How do you feel about the Denden Mushi world government orders being for a no-name merchant ship?
Hey, I mean, I wasn't wrong, but also I was like, like I just breezed by it because Kuma's just such a good guy. Because they were just like I think like right afterwards they were talking about how oh no, it was a little bit later where yeah, I kind of just breezed by it. Oh, you know what caught my eye? It was that
What?
like Oda drew Luffy as like current Luffy because he has his current art style.
Yeah, he drew him like with abs and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because when Luffy did that turn, I got scared for Kuma. I was like, no, not. And then I
Yeah,
remembered
this
it.
looks like Luffy with like observation, conquers hockey, like they got the udon body. And then
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
to chapter 1 of One Piece, and Luffy's like, hey guys, I'm
yeah.
Lucky D. Luffy. It's like, dang, it's Oda's art style has changed, but I would almost wish that he, tried to draw a non-fit version of Luffy. But then again, if you watch like the East Blue episodes,
Yeah,
like
yeah, he
the
is strong.
revamped ones, he is actually like buffed out.
Yeah, it was just like I looked at it. I thought this was like post Kaido Luffy for a
Yeah,
second. And then I was like, look at that. And then I was like, wait, no, this is so pre-time
there's
skip
no
because
observation
if you
there.
look at the panel, Kuma was standing right there. Like he was not
Yeah,
even
he
that,
not even hiding.
and Luffy's like, who's there? And I'm like, brother, you don't even need observation hockey to see a 20-foot monster man. Like just
Yeah,
watch.
just staring at you with sunglasses on. Yeah.
I was like, all right, well,
Yeah, so
that's
some people were saying that this was early observation. I think that's a harmless thing to say, but at the same time,
he was right
like
there.
Luffy turning, like you said, it's a giant. It is a thing where you could feel people staring at you. The
Yeah.
Denden Mushi rang. Kuma popped himself, so it was the boink noise.
Yeah.
Like no, Luffy could have eased. I feel like any human would have turned around right here.
I feel like if anything, Luffy's it rang 3 times and he didn't get to look. You're telling me
Yeah,
rang
right, 3 times.
how does the Denden Mushi go? But yeah, but and then after the third one, Luffy looks. You know how slow that is? That's crazy. We could power scale off of sound
Yeah,
audio.
power scale Luffy turned into a phone. No, wait. We could power scale the Straw Hats in correlation to how good they would be in a phone call center.
True. That's a
Yo,
solid
Zoro
one.
would get lost.
Yeah.
Nami would be good. She'd sell. Usopp would sell pretty hard.
Yeah. Ginny would
Yeah.
be S tier, S tier.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be crazy. But yeah, with the call, right? I mean, this made sense to me. I was saying like I don't think it's related to Goa. But I was also it wasn't related to the Bonnie stuff either.
It's not related to anything, really. It's just warlords doing warlord things, I guess,
It's
Like,
also
I forgot they just clean up random pirates. Like, it obviously, somebody's gonna say, "Duh, Sai." That's why they have warlords. But it's like, when I expect warlords on a mission, I'm expecting them to take down like some, medium-sized pirate gang. But it's like, hey, go take out this probably just like 2 bandits that just have a pirate ship. I don't know.
yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, they really brought out the whole force of Kuma against these guys.
So I didn't get to fully digest this scene here, but there was something, in my opinion, significant, is that Oda didn't. Whenever we go to a new place or even a
Yeah.
random place, he always is either like an unnamed island, a certain island, or tells us the blue at least. He didn't do that. So we don't even know. This doesn't even mean it's in the East Blue. It could be anywhere. And for Oda to not do that, I was like, huh, why wouldn't he do that? But then also, like you said, yes, the warlords do get missions to clean up pirates, but they also don't get missions for like random pirates. And we do know that. Like Kuma got the mission to take out Straw Hat Luffy or even just Monitor just in case he took out Moria. But like then there's the Moria situation where they have a Moria there to just broad spectrum wipe people if they go the wrong way, right? If they fall into the Florian Triangle. So it's like it is really weird that Kuma was sent for this random merchant ship, but my mind was like, what if that merchant ship was important? Like, what if there was something in there? And I was almost perturbed by like, we had 3 panels of it. We even got what the merchants look like. And so it's like, is this like the Shanks stealing the Gomu Gomu? And then later we find out that this is a Cypher Pole ship, like it was actually a very important thing that happened
It's
here.
a really important shit. We just don't know of it yet. It's not Sun God Nika.
Yeah,
Moon God Bika.
Yeah, Moon God Bika, or like I don't even know what it would be, but it would have to be like right before Luffy set sail. So that is a significant time period. Maybe there is something important there. But like, it's weird how Oda gave us details, but then also didn't give us details. Because keep in mind,
Do you think this ship is going to be important, like long term? Like, where would you put your stock? I'm leaning towards no. I feel like if the ship had more distinguished features, I would be on board that it's huge. I do find it notable that we, like you said, we see the merchants, and it looks like they're from Alabasta-ish.
That's
They
a
look.
little racist. They
Well,
could
I
be
mean,
where Abdullah
it
is
fits
from.
the attire.
Could be where
It fits the attire.
Dressrosa, the duo. It could be from where they're from. Come
It
on.
could be, but they literally they look like Zoro pre-time skip. But yeah, if we had more distinguished features on the ship, I would be on board. Man, imagine if the ship was like like the man marked by flames, jet black, and they're like, "Thank you, Kuma, for helping me," and then they just sail on. I'd be like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" But nah, dude, it's just
I'm in the
hey,
same,
thanks, man.
literally the same boat as you, where it's like for me, because the boat is generic, and Oda rarely does. I feel like
Even the pirates. We don't even see the pirates, dude.
Yeah, we don't see that, and I was like, it's weird to me because keep in mind, like when we had the Kuma going for all the places where Bonnie, the montage, it was literally one thing for each island, and we like it's crazy because like. This was a big, like, why did Kuma even send the Straw Hats to that thing? And we only got one dialogue bubble per place. And it's not a meaningful thing. I doubt there's going to be any more meaning to that. But even that is kind of like an interesting notion because it's like we only got like a sliver of a panel there. And then here we have like an entire page almost. And like defined people. Like Oda went through the details of doing that. And maybe it's not a huge thing, but something that is really interesting and cool is like a lot of times Oda does keep these random characters very consistent. Like,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like there's characters from there was characters in I forgot which arc it is, but they ended up as they got beat up by Luffy as Luffy, Ace, and Sabo.
Wait, what's
as
up?
Kids. Wait, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So as kids, Ace, Sabo, and Luffy beat up these guys, right? And then those same guys are brokers in the underworld on Punk Hazard. And Oda confirms it in the SPS. And it's like, that's such a random thing that in a montage of characters where Ace, Sabo, and Luffy robbed these dudes blind, they ended up becoming brokers in the underworld. And there's so many iterations of this. But another one, a cool one, in my opinion, again, it's not hard to do, but the Gyo guy that Bonnie has, I had the huge realization afterwards. I mean, I guess like it makes sense that like that guy, what that Sorbet Kingdom, the villagers were just Bonnie's crew, which now makes sense why Bonnie's crew was so weird. And I never slandered them the same way I did with Law and Kids crew. I just want to make that clear. But they were in the same like peg of like what is with her crew, and now it makes sense. They were just random civilian people that were like,
they're not random civilians, Par.
Okay, they're not random. Okay,
I cannot believe you disrespect Gyo, man. What the hell is wrong with you?
In my chat people super chatted because they were mad at me. I was like,
wait, did you disrespect Gyo?
For a different reason. I'll explain in a little bit.
The world's strongest fisherman. What the hell? What's wrong with you?
I'll explain a little bit. But going back to
he has his own Jolly Roger, man.
I'll explain. Oh, that's a sick Jolly.
Dude, he has a dead fish. Dude, I think this is the man who started racism against fishmen.
Okay, see the headcanon. We'll get there when we get there. But dude, as far as these guys,
I think that's the next big theory. Like the reason why fishermen don't go up on land isn't because of the celestial dragons. It's because of the existence of Gyu.
Oh my god, Bonnie's
like, dude,
retainer.
A dream matchup. People have been talking about this one for a while now. But Gyo versus Jack the Drought, and since he's a fishman, I feel like Gyo will get like a 50% damage boost or something. Like you know what I mean? Like he hit him with the I'd win. It's over, man. Like
it's not even it's just called a racist buff. Like
the racist buff against fish people. Gyo just takes the W. He's too strong,
automatic win against any fishman of any race or any species. Like Jinbei gone. Like
yeah, dude. Like Gyo would beat Jinbei. Like it's over.
My God.
The world's strongest fisherman.
Since we're going down the rabbit hole of pitting fishermen against each other, why? Oh, man, imagine Jinbei versus Jack. That would have been sick. You know, like
Jinbei would win.
Yeah, Jinbei would win. But like, people hype up Jack for some reason. I'm like,
he's Kaido's prodigy, man. Come on.
Yeah, but like, he's not like we can't say anybody that beat him or anybody who fought him is like that insane. I'm like, he's Jack. Come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jack is kind of awful.
Yeah, like it's a slippery
He's
slope
not
from
that cool.
king, queen to jack, and it's a very steep, slippery slope in my opinion. Queen is the debatable one. You can slide that, but my God, Jack is not anywhere on the same. Like if he was in Big Mom's crew, Big Mom would just eat him. Like it'd be gone for all the failures because Snack messed up once, sort of, and
Remember when Jack was introduced and he was like, "Oh, what's Sengoku Suru, Fujitora? Yeah, let's go do it. Let's free Doflamingo."
and
Like,
then he comes
I actually thought
white.
he would do something. I was like, "Oh shoot, like Doflamingo's gonna get broken out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
done,
I
dude."
For me though, and this is the crazy one because I wasn't in the community, I was anime only. And so for me, that's where my headcanon about Suru being really strong came in. I was like, nah, Suru's gonna defend this shit. Suru's got it. But we don't get it gets off screen because that's how insanely strong Suru is. Like who actually beat Jack? It was definitely Suru, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Suru, but that's
Yeah.
the thing, man. Like, I don't think Jack stood a chance against Fujitora, Sengoku, and Sudo all at once. And plus, just
Yeah.
like what, two extra marine ships too, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they just had a bunch of fodder there with them. Like, no, dude, Jack, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Funny guy. Funny guy.
So yeah,
Great, great.
he wouldn't beat Gyo.
Yeah, no disrespect for the Mammoth Boys. I'm sorry. I always get shit on for that, but shout outs to you guys. But yeah, as far as the merchant thing, I don't know if it will be like so like you said, not Nika. I don't think Sun got Bika, but like as far as maybe down the line, like like these guys are like Kuma. I remember Kuma. Like it's like a not a Tontada Nolan thing, but more like, oh, this guy like went out of our way and it's like something for
Oh, they're gonna ship
Bonnie.
to Egghead Island and save Kuma.
Okay, maybe not like that, but like,
Oh, what if one of them is like, hey, Kuma, since you're dead and you need your memory stored somewhere and you want to come back to life, you can take my body.
okay, no, see, Kuma should say no, but
And then
also
Kuma takes over their body, and then they go to Bonnie like, "Hey, my daughter."
no, I'm no, okay, see,
Yeah, that could be it.
now that you said
Huge.
that, I created a different what if where it's like they think that the pacifist is Kuma, they blindly walk up to a death robot and it's like, hey, you saved it, and then the pacifist just wipes them.
Oh, that would be so funny. Imagine the next cover page story is actually just those guys. Like, it's a whole span of like maybe 10 or 20 chapters. They see a pacifist, they're like, "Hey, Kuma," and then
Yeah,
like,
we need saving
yeah,
again.
like the next 10 cover pages are all these guys like hanging around Kuma. They're like, "Hey, buddy, let's go get a drink," and then the robot's like, just like not even saying anything. It would be like Weekend at Bernie's, but with these guys in Kuma. That'd
And
be
then
hilarious.
And then they're also like low-key brown, but like imagine this, like right, Kuma has like the sensor thing. So he's like if the police like checks your record before they stop you and they see this like 20-year-old year warrant, like not for your arrest, but like you did like a petty crime. And so he like Pacifista comes like beep 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 beep. Beep. Ah, this guy stole from a candy shop. Time to obliterate. Remember how the Straw Hat stole from egg like just clothes, and it was like, all
Yeah.
right, time to destroy half the island with lasers. And then with these guys, he's like, oh, he stole 5 berries worth of candy canes from a kid 20 years ago, and then you just blast their asses. That'd be,
Oh, that'd be
woo.
huge. That'd
Yeah,
be
that's a cover
huge.
story. That's a cover story for
I
sure.
would love it, man. That'd be so
Wipe out
funny.
crime right at the butt of it. Yeah,
One
ooh.
Piece has some good gags, man. And you know what's a really good gag from this chapter too?
What?
It's the next part. My favorite gag in this chapter is the fact that Alpha rips up Kuma's letters. I think
I
that
hate
is
you. I
absolutely
knew it. I
hilarious. What?
precogged this. I hate.
What?
I
What?
literally. Okay, go to my
What's
okay.
up?
If you came from my stream, you know I precogged this. This is the part I literally was on track for under an hour reading, and then this hit me. And okay, to paint the picture, this is what
Wait, were
happened.
you upset at this?
Stop talking to me, Sai. I don't want to.
Were you upset? Wait, whoa, what's up? What's up, Bar?
No, stop talking to me right now. See, I read this, right? And I was going page by page, and here it is. It was like, one will turn up sooner or later to see Bonnie blah blah. And then I see Alpha holding it, right? I don't even see her name. She's redacted from my brain, right? I saw that thing and I thought that she was gonna rip it. I took a pause because if she did, I was gonna rage. I was gonna get so mad, so viscerally mad. Literally, my wife said that I shook the entire house with how angry I got, and she
You're
never.
having a stroke.
never
That's
in any
horrible.
of my reactions has she ever texted me to be like, "Hey, like you are actually being," and I didn't even feel like I was that loud, but she
That's
said that
awful, man.
she came and she's like the entire house shook. And I was like, "What?" And then I got to the next page and it all got diffused. I got to the next page because I read it and I said, it shows it to the guy, put this in the church's mailbox. Immediately my anger shifted, it morphed, I was confused. I was also really tired. I hadn't slept in like 4 days, but also here
You
we
were
are.
like, ah, she's great. She's great.
Yeah,
She's
she's
giving it to
fine.
the mailman.
And then this motherfucker says, no, it's just a morning paper. So I don't know who this guy is right
Shh,
now. And I'm
you
like,
can't cuss too much. We're on
oh,
YouTube still.
I'm sorry, YouTube. But like,
You let it lose too much, Par. You gotta dial it back, brother.
yeah. And so so I saw him and I was like, no, he's the problem. He
Rein in
did
the
this.
anger.
And I got so like confused, man. I was like, this guy, he's so dumb. He didn't know it's not the thing. And I my anger shifted there. And so um then like it wasn't anger, I was just disappointed, I was sad, I was upset and at him, right? And then the chat's going, I don't read the chat like especially when I'm like going like it's flowing. I don't see the chat and apparently it was building up. People are like, oh, Par's gotta apologize to Gyokyo or something like that, right? And so I'm reading the, I'm like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. She's not an evil demon. It's fine. It's cool. This guy's the problem, but it's also fine. He's just dumb. He doesn't know. Like she's pulling fast and whatever. I get the next thing, another one. How many does this make? And I slowly read this, and then I saw that last thing, and then I got angry again. I almost broke the laptop. That shit was so infuriating. And then I went through this whole thing. It was probably like 20 minutes of me just angry or whatever. Um, or not angry. I forgot what emotions I had. But then at the end of it, I said, do I bring Scion right now? Because I know this fucking. Oh, sorry. I know this like oh my god. I was like,
Degenerate.
this dude is gonna come on here and say like, and say, and I'm gonna say it before you say it. I was gonna say, if you came onto the stream, you would be like, "No, she's doing her a solid." What do you mean? Imagine being a kid and getting all these letters, like, and what? She's just gonna miss him even
You
more.
took the words out of my mouth. Par Alpha's doing God's work. It's a church, brother. Alpha is doing the holy work right here, ripping up these letters. You never know what. I mean,
And I
you
would
gotta
have ended the
Par.
following day.
Did you
I
forget
would have
that
ended.
Kuma's a pirate?
I'm.
Kuma's a pirate. What if these are bad letters? What if
I'm
they have a sailor's mouth like yourself? You know, like what if these are some nasty curse words that Kuma's throwing in there? You never know, man. And here's the thing.
You can't even say that. Wanna know why?
We have to
You
give
wanna know why?
Alpha the benefit of the
No.
doubt, because you know why? Pretty
Why?
privilege. It be like that sometimes, you know, like, hey, did you read the letter part? Because I did it, you know, like One Piece often likes to subvert, expectations. That letter we read earlier in this chapter, what if that's not the actual ending to the letter? And Kuma goes on and writes a whole bunch of crazy things like, I just killed 10 people on that ship. I had another warlord job where I massacred an entire pirate crew.
You want to know?
There's like a bloody head in the letter
why?
too. You never know, man.
You
Maybe
wanna know
Alpha's
why
doing
we
good.
know? No, you want to know why? Because
Why, what's up?
she says, how is he finding so much to write about to Bonnie Hearts? How mushy can you get? We know that, yeah, maybe this letter she's tired of after 10 a month for however many months, right? Because it's like 150 letters that she doesn't even have a shredder. They didn't invent shredder. She's manually, personally ripping these apart. She had to.
Yeah, she's got to like work out the Shigan game, dude. The finger pistol, She's like, I gotta tear these pieces of paper. That's my training.
You know how she knows it's mushy? Because she read some of them. Because that's also part of her job. That's what spies are supposed to do. They have to read some of the letters.
But here's the thing: what if Kuma's dropping details about the Buccaneer race, Saint Saturn? Like, I think it's justified that she rips the paper, man.
It's mushy. She said it's mushy. That's why she ripped it up. She
Define
said,
mushy.
She didn't say, how criminal, she didn't say that. No, she said how mushy. She ripped it up on the metric of mushy.
Dang, I was trying to find like some third or fourth, definitions of mushy. There's not. It's all just soft and emotional. Dang.
What's happening?
Sentimental. No, not like this. I can't lose.
I can't lose your every move during my.
I can't lose this.
And
What does
we just
OP
do one of
scan
these.
say? Does OP scan says it? Do they say it differently, please?
Like right
Give me
now,
a
guys,
translation that fits my agenda.
we need an edit of me side throwing out the most bad, like crazy, and I'm like, no, no, no. The pretty privilege is the one thing that I not that was the like that one slap across the face in the middle.
Yeah, the pretty privilege is the one that will get you. You know, you can't
No,
deny. You know, I still have homies that vouch for Alpha.
you know why the pretty privilege doesn't apply to me? Because I said on the stream immediately, I don't even remember her. I don't even, she's now Kalfa to me. She's not even, she doesn't have her own name, to the point someone super chatted at the end. Is funny because, you know, out of order, but he super chatted like, oh, like Bonnie's 10th straw hat, whatever, right? All this, right? And at the end, he's like, she mirrors so much about Luffy's thing to the point that when she left her island, she also
Oh,
punched a sea monster. And I was
wait,
like, she punched Lord of the Coast. And then I look at the panel, it's Calpha, and I'm like, oh
wait. What if? Wait, did you ever take in consideration that maybe
stop,
Alpha
stop.
is looking out for Bonnie because Bonnie can't read, and this would just make her upset?
So you're telling me uh she's such a bad retainer that she doesn't know that the child she's looking over for a year plus is illiterate when she's been reading books about Skypiea and
But
Fisher Island.
what if those books just had pictures though? Did you read the book,
She's
Par?
in a church. She preaches the Bible. She knows about she literally kicked the child for saying that she's a vamp. She's literate, okay? Kuma, it holds a Bible for a living. Like
I don't know, man. Like, you know, have you ever
yeah,
been touched by the
okay,
divine before,
okay,
Par?
stop.
Sometimes you just touch the book and then all the images and words flood your head. You don't have to read it
So
sometimes, man.
you're telling me that okay, let's go down your slippery slope of Bonnie is illiterate, even though she's been waiting for
And
letters for a year
Alpha's
now.
looking out for her.
Okay, but you know what you'd have to do for that? You'd have to say that every person here is illiterate as well. Because you know what happened when Yamato couldn't read Odin's journal? There was happened to be people who could read the journal and she had them read it to her. You know what Bonnie could do if she
No,
could read?
okay.
She could ask
So
Queen Dowager, who is
do you know what
literate.
JJK is? So there's such things as like a heavenly ability, and you usually have to give up something in order to receive an insane power. Gyogyo in this church is the world's strongest fisherman. I think my theory is that he gave up his he gave up his literacy to become the world's strongest fisherman.
And how is that relevant to the alpha ripping letters?
Because Gyogyo
Bonnie's,
can't read either. Alpha didn't want to make either one of these people feel bad about
what about
themselves.
Queen Dowager? What about any of the other
Well,
people?
what old lady do you know can read, right?
Oh my God.
Yo,
They all yeah, they invented reading.
yo, show me a picture of a lady over 80 that can read. Come on. Come on. It doesn't exist. They can't even drive.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Yeah, things didn't happen, dude. Come on, come on, come on.
My textbook never showed me old people reading. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, they're never reading. They're always just smiling at the book. All right, no, okay. Jokes aside, yeah, Alpha a little bit mean spirited, I will say. She still has the pretty privilege, so she gets away with a little bit of it. But here's the thing, you know, she's ripping up the what's it called, the letters, and she's dropping it in the trash can, but she's not burning them. So technically, you could just go over there and just reform it, right?
That's what I said. And
Yeah,
that
you
was
could
my
just like
hope.
put it together.
I was holding on to that. I said something in chat. I said, if Bonnie
Like nobody checked the
does
trash
not-
can outside.
Yeah, if Bonnie doesn't get to read these letters before she leaves, I will never forgive.
But here's the thing,
Alpha.
dude. Bonnie read like a whole life's worth of letters through this flashback when she went through the memories. That must be sad.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. Like after those memories, I'd be balling too. You know, Bonnie, like after she saw the memories, she was like sitting down, crying. I'd be the same boat, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
like,
that's horrible.
It's also worse because like at one part of her life, and she never, like, we don't know how long it was, but like to me the painful part of
Wait, what's
this
up?
was like I was, oh wait, did it cut out? Are we good?
Go ahead. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if you guys are wondering why I say what's up when Par's talking sometimes, it's because Discord, it messes up. And I can see that he's talking, but I can't hear anything. You guys can still hear it because I see my audio thing picks it up. But I'm just like left in the dark, like, yes, Par's talking and I don't know what's happening. So
Yeah,
when I cut
Discord
him
was-
off, it fixes itself. So yeah,
Yeah.
just a heads up.
But yeah, the painful part for me here was I was anticipating like was the word? Not recourse. Like um
Retribution.
yeah, like for Bonnie to be upset because Kuma promised something and he didn't live up to it by with those letters. And that's like like as a kid, it's a painful thing. And for me, it's like you are making the nicest man in the goddamn in the series a villain. And I can't.
It's such a mixed bag. I know what you mean because I brought this up last week too, where Kuma was like, "Hey, we're gonna travel together," and then deep down he's like, "It's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's a little kid. Like, what can you really tell Bonnie at this point? Maybe if Bonnie was older, he'd be like, I gotta go for good. But Bonnie's so young, I can't fault him for making these empty promises.
Right. But then as far as the letters go, for Alpha to deny that and then also do the deviousness, and it doesn't
No, no,
end
no,
there
no, no,
because she
no.
is
Wait,
also
what?
basically like
Deviousness.
because Sai, you are a big man of law. What she's committing is a felony by US standards. I literally had an entire trial. Like at the end of it,
You said, "Si, you're a man of the law, so you know this." Yeah. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
She's reading other people's letters, and she probably doesn't have the guardianship.
Well,
Dowager
she
probably
works
has.
for the world government though, so she technically does have the authority to do that.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She'd have to have the U.S. You have to be a postal worker.
What
You
if she
can't
is
just
supposed to?
be.
Well, what if that's what CP8 is known for?
You'd
Have you ever
have
thought
to.
about that?
So I would try her for that in court. I would take her to court.
Yeah, you take her to
Not,
court. It would be
yeah.
like straight JJK, just take him to court.
If court doesn't work, we're extra. We're taking,
Fisticuffs.
like there's many levels to
Take her to
the
the Roman Colosseum.
like the levels. Like I said this in many streams. Like I said that what I forget what chapter it was. I said that this is the chapter I would forgive Kuma for him becoming Doflamingo. Like if he came out and just obliterated everybody because of what they did to him, I wouldn't even be. It's not a crime. Like I would, like the juror, in the jury thing, some crimes, it's like I didn't see what he did. You mean someone hurt his daughter
What
really badly?
crime?
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Look at that tree. Like
Kuma destroyed the world government? Ah, what world government? I don't know those guys.
and then afterwards, it's like Kuma's such a nice guy. I'm like, you know what, Kuma, I'll be the criminal for you. If I was in the One Piece world, I'll do it. I'll do it
I've
for
seen a
you.
lot of those recently. They're like, hey, like, put me in this anime. They need to be taken down. I think that's a hilarious trend.
Alpha. I almost jumped in. Take her to court by United States law. You are hereby sentenced.
Yeah.
Impel down
Yeah.
level 6. Like I sent her straight to level 6 for this. Like it's not even that because then later on she's poisoning her. She's
Joe
giving
Biden
her
takes part in the trial too.
placebo medicine, and it's like
The
you don't
placebo
even-
medicine's hilarious,
It's
dude.
not
I
even
was like,
necessary.
insult to injury. She was like, hey, by the way, here's some nasty lemon juice. And here's the thing, since it is a placebo, you could technically just make it taste good. You could just buy her a soda. Buy her a soda, like put some sugar in there so it tastes a little bit different. But no,
Yeah.
she went out of her way to make it bad. Dude, that's
That's
a
what I'm
next level
saying.
tomfoolery. I love that.
Straight to level 6. Straight at that.
That's
When I saw that,
hilarious,
I'm
dude.
like, there's no saving this one. This is why all those mean things I
But
said
maybe
about
she'll have a redemption arc though.
no, you know what? We know why because we're in the modern story, and that's why I said all those mean things like, "Oh, her dad doesn't love her. He loved Khalifa instead." That's why all the good things and stuff. Because that was the other thing everyone was saying in the chat. Khalifa would never, and honestly, I believe it. In the cover stories, Khalifa was an angel, like to everybody.
Yeah, Khalifa's not that. Yeah, Khalifa was pretty nice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I think she was even the one who said, "I don't exactly want to kill Iceberg, but I have to." She showed a little bit of remorse. It's like, oh yeah, it's better than nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, like Khalifa would literally look at her and be like, "You're."
She would still kill Iceberg, but at least she felt bad about it, dude.
Yeah.
Khalifa's laughing at this little girl. That's
And-
so funny.
And like what we're saying, my thing is that these atrocities, nobody ordered
Well,
these things.
okay, be
Nobody
careful where you throw the
ordered.
word the A word, Par. We don't
Whatever.
know yet. They're
These
not convicted. This is all speculation still.
Just right there.
Hey, like I
thought
said,
you-
we don't know what the letter is. We don't know if they're like literally. Like, come on.
No, see, my cope was like, okay, say technically she's committing things that aren't crimes, but I would still charge her for that this is crazy stuff, right? And I was sitting there, and that's where the whole USPS thing came in. But like with Alpha, it's like all the crazy things that Khalifa did most of the bad stuff was because Spandom ordered it, right? Whereas Alpha,
She's
nobody's
going out of
ordered.
her way. Yeah, dude. Saturn never said you can't send letters. He just said he can't come in contact with Bonnie. Like, technically, this isn't breaking that rule if he sends letters.
Yeah. It might even like I'm pretty
Like,
sure
I don't
like
know,
Kuma
man.
probably is so nice of a guy. He probably asked Saturn like, "Hey, can I still send letters?" And Saturn's like, "Man, whatever. I'm not a demon. What do you think? I'm maybe a
Yeah, like
yokai."
maybe Saturn would be like, we're gonna have to read them before we send them, but sure, why not?
Yeah, and then lo and behold, the person who reads it and then does is taking it upon
Wait,
themselves.
let me twist it around. What if Alpha's illiterate and she's getting upset that she can't read it? She's like, oh, this is probably mushy. I'm gonna throw it away.
Okay. You know what I love about
Somebody
this?
here can't read.
In the last 3 or 4 collabs, we've like Dragon was my cope was like maybe he's just blind and illiterate and like he just doesn't have
A little bit of a Helen Keller, you know?
yeah, and then here it's like, you know what? Maybe she's not a demon. Maybe she just can't read, which, makes you it's like the was it the Twix? Like you need a break. Like I was hungry,
Yeah.
I needed a Twix break. So like that, like she just can't read, so it makes her an evil person. I don't know. Moral of the story, guys, learn how to read because you'll be a better
It's good for
person
you.
for it.
It's
Yeah,
good for you.
yeah. If you can.
But you know who is good though? Queen Dowager, dude. Or not Queen Dowager, Queen Connie.
Yes.
She
Wait,
is
why did you
awesome.
correct it? Wasn't it both? Isn't Connie Dowager?
Well, Dowager isn't her name, it's her title.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dowager's
Dowager is a title. So but since they introduced her as Dowager, I was like, oh, Dowager. I just thought that was her
yeah.
name. But
Yeah.
people corrected it, and yes, it is a title. But yeah, Queen Connie's awesome though. Her and Gyogyo are unironically really goated. Like they're just so cool. They're looking after Bonnie. They're helping her. They're going out of their way as just civilians to save Bonnie from this situation, to help Kuma in whatever way they
Yeah.
can. I'm like, yo, not many people would do that, especially when they're powerless, right? I mean, Connie's powerless, but Yo-Yo, like she said, he's the world's strongest fisherman, right? I'm sure pirates and sea beasts will turn tail once they see them in action. Brother, sea beasts are pretty strong. You're telling me that Gyogyo can take them on? Whew.
I was like, yo,
Hype.
like we're gassing him up like crazy, but
We're gassing them.
But then I was like, wait, no, this actually kind of makes sense because yeah, like Bonnie's strong and all, but like whatever, but they still became a supernova crew within a
Yeah,
like a
they're
year.
a supernova crew with a 12-year-old leader.
Yeah, and like Gyogyo plus people, you know what I mean? Like hooligans who are strong. And like I'm sitting there like, hold on, where were these people during the revolution? Like did Dowager like I'm having like are these like rocks? Like is this like it's the same theory essentially as like Whoop Slap being from the Rocks Pirates. Like Whoop Slap and Makino being friendly, but like in order to protect Luffy, they needed a Shanks, right? Whereas in this one, no, Whoop Slap and Makino stepped up to the plate. And Gyogyo would be, I guess, Makino here, and Makino takes Luffy out.
Hey, you know it.
Solo brings him to supernova status in a year. That's crazy. Like, and then they're just like, I went to the Sabaody thing, and it's literally the same guy.
Gyogyo is like Bonnie's Zoro when you really think about it.
More like the correct Strusen.
Strusen?
Yeah, because Strusen is crack too. He's like the manager and the age gap thing, except he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not questioning about.
I don't know, man. Like Gyogyo, like you can't you really can't sleep on him. Like he's just that crazy.
As far as power, though, I agree with you. Might as well be Zoro Sanji. Like he's the wings of the Pirate King.
He can beat Sea Beast. Dude, could he beat the King of the Coast? You know what I mean? Like, holy crap! What are we saying here?
I was sitting there thinking, right? At the end of the chapter, when Bonnie did the thing, and we'll talk about it later, when she did that thing, I was like, what if these are CP8 agents, right? We saw the Straw Hats fight CP5, CP7, whatever. What if these pirates just could have beaten her? Like, they just didn't know that she was evil. They just found out she was a world government agent, but like, the problem wasn't necessarily just beating her and staying on they needed to leave. And I'm thinking, like, imagine a world where like Bonnie doesn't do that, and then Gyogyo just handles it, and it's like, He's just like one finger stops her. It's like, if I
Yeah, he
had
has a
known this entire time what you've been doing to my dear Bonnie, you know? Oh my
yeah,
god.
like Alpha's trying to fly over to the ship and then he just hits her with like Conqueror's hockey Wi-Fi. That'll be
Swat
game,
her out of
dude.
the air, just a bug
Here's
zap.
a goofy one. So I know we're like memeing on Gyogyo, but
Memeing with
memeing
Gyo.
with Gyogyo.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you think he's gonna show up eventually again? Current story, because Bonnie left him behind during the events of the Reverie and Egghead Island. But since Bonnie is so young, I just really don't think they left her alone because they wanted to. Bonnie must have, like, just snuck away. So
Yeah.
I feel like Gyogyo and the others are out there somewhere looking for Bonnie. Dude, imagine they show up here. That'd be it's kind of hype, dude. I don't know.
Oh my god. I know, again, I know we're memeing with him, and obviously I formally apologize for him on stream. The strongest fit is the hooligans who can fight the thing. But I just realized something. What if Oda, I mean, this is 100% memes. What because after Saba Odi, they just disappeared. The crew was just missing, right?
Yeah, they're
And like
gone.
she had them, but the next thing that we saw was she was tied up with the Blackbeard pirates. And I was thinking, like, forever, it's like that's the only thing that's like, what happened to her crew? Like, that's what made it feel like Law and Kid's crew, where they're like the fodder until they're not. Right now, Law's crew is like, wait, hold on, why couldn't they do this before? But imagine if the reason why Oda didn't have Gyogyo there was because if the crew was there, the Blackbeard pirates wouldn't be able to take Bonnie because they're just that strong.
Yeah.
Like Blackbeard would have been like, who are you? What is
No, Blackbeard with all of his knowledge would have been like, so you're
No.
Gyogyo. Yeah, he hits him with a one-liner like that.
Yeah, he's like the man marked by Gyo, like it's just some random
And then
line.
Gyogyo's gonna hit him with some like crazy like lore, like, oh, like I heard my protege took on someone like you, and he was talking about Whitebeard. Yeah,
He's
like
like,
Gyogyo trained Whitebeard or
you
something.
mentioned a guy named Teach. I hear you're going by
Yeah.
Blackbeard nowadays.
You're
Yeah, let me
going
tell
by
you.
Blackbeard.
Yeah, let me tell you what I did to the last guy named
My
Beard.
son Shanks told me all about you.
And my son Shanks is
Yeah,
great.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Big Garland is standing there like, oh man, I'll never claim custody of Shanks at this rate with Gyo here.
Yeah. Like
That's the real
Gyogyo's the
reason.
one reason why we couldn't go get Bonnie.
Or now let's just say he's the father of Shanks and adoptive father of Bonnie. All these years that Shanks was on Roger's crew, the reason why Garland could never go is because
Oh,
Gyo.
maybe Gyogyo was what hatched out of the Oro Jackson's egg. You never, you never know, man. You never know.
Not the oral. That's such a
Yeah,
of all the places. I love when people just fit that egg into every theory, but this
yeah.
is
The
the
egg
place
just
I
always
did not-
pops in.
I never expected you to say she came out of the.
That's good, huh?
I need to see that. Someone needs to edit like the cracked egg, and he's just like Gyo.
That's so good. Maybe that's the next thumbnail.
Oh
No, I don't know if
yeah,
I could
that'd
do
be
that. I don't
crazy.
have the skills for that one, but
Yeah,
if I did, I would.
only
Just know it.
Gyokyo could.
Oh man. So what happened? What are we talking about? This chapter or something?
Well, now we're on the Henny. We got to the panel with the
Yeah,
Henny.
yeah. We got like the Vegapunk. We won't spend too much time on this one. Vegapunk, Stussy, Kuma, the good old conversation. Then he gets hit with the checkered fate line, which I feel like is in almost every flashback now, right? Kuma, unofficial D, sure, why not? But I'm more
Is that what
interested in
people are
like,
saying?
yeah. Well, I say that.
Oh, okay.
I say that, and I inflate it to saying everybody's saying it, so I sound
Yeah,
cooler.
okay.
But
Yeah, no, I have to ask him like because I don't know anything.
yeah,
I'm just like,
who's saying that? Who else is saying that? I'm like, yeah, it's just it's those guys over there. I point out like a couple of mirrors. Yeah. When Kuma shows up to Egghead Island, do you think Stussy is gonna pour one out for him and help him out, or what's up? I mean, I guess she already is on our side, so it's not gonna be like that big of a twist. But I would like a little like one or two lines from Stussy saying, "Yo, like this is the robot guy." Like maybe she's like, "Oh, I see that being like Kuma's even worse than my existence." I
Yeah,
don't
this
know.
line. I mean, as far as what you're saying, like this, like we get most of this. This all makes sense. Like it's this is
Yeah.
thematic, but, like the human that lacks free will and the clone that doesn't. Like I feel like that's the only like if Oda could cut things out, he would not. That's the only line he really needed out of this, and that's like Man, it's so hard because like I
What's hard?
really get what Stussy's saying though, because it's
Yeah.
like the reason why she doesn't feel like she has free will is because the bloodline she's based off of is like predisposed to something according to what she thinks. But that's like the entire point of what I think is Bonnie's power, which we talked about like last week, and this chapter helps a lot in that direction. But like it's that you're not predisposed towards anything, right? And then also the human that lacks free will, well, if you go back to the very beginning of Egghead, which is current time, like Kuma or not Kuma, Vegapunk still hasn't succeeded in wiping out innate um animal instincts, like instinctual things. And then that's the line, in my opinion, that connects back to like what Dragon was saying, right? Like a child is a parent's weakness, and that's probably like the natural instinct that Kuma will never, even if you wipe his, that he can't get away from it, which is very a powerful wording because Bonnie isn't the biological daughter, but in his mind, and if you are a good enough parent, it doesn't matter. Like anybody, you can adopt that mentality for just about anybody, if you choose to, if you have the will to do that. And so it's like it's like these characters coming from some crazy circumstances, like and trying to break those shackles, and that's such an interesting line. And then also it's like weird because then Vegapunk hits Kuma with the weirdest hypothetical of like, I'll put it like this: you may already have a reputation for being totally obedient, but what would you do if you were asked to kill a child? It's like, damn, you couldn't make another hypothetical. Like, it's a little close to
Yeah, it's
home.
kind of funny.
Yeah,
Like put this Kuma in the same room as the young boy he found from Fuchsia Village. I mean, yo, like what if Kuma's next words were "I killed the boy," and
yeah.
Dragon just never heard it?
Yeah. He's just like, you know that young boy. Well, I lost my
Killed him.
free will and I just murdered. I was like,
And then
what?
he writes that in the letter to Bonnie, and Alpha's like, ugh, just rips it up.
No, you're not spinning this back. Stop that. Stop that. You're not just. Normally, I'd slide by and like, oh yes, I just
I
said
got a cope for Alpha, bro. Come on,
no,
somebody's
no
got to do it.
alpha code,
Come on, milkman, come out.
no alpha code, no. But yeah, like
It's
the
so good.
I would imagine, Stussy has like a when Kuma comes back as like the state that he's in, like the broken
Yeah,
state that he's in, that's gonna be a moving point, maybe even towards the Seraphims, because the Seraphims are on that path towards like consciousness and
destruction.
self-awareness. And like maybe seeing Kuma literally defy orders, running up on the Gorosei, right? Like with no leg, battered, beaten, broken. Even let's say if like there's a world where the Saturn orders the Seraphim to take down Kuma, like the pacifista, like the one that's our Kuma, and they can't, like, because he's just he's just like, he goes ultra instinct mode, you know what I mean? Like he's just like
Yeah,
doop 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 doop, and they're just like, what?
120% potential.
Yeah, and then like maybe that's how they get to their originals, because Kuma knows all the originals, so he sends all the Seraphims to their original ones, and they're just gone. That'd be kind of a crazy
That'd be
situation. But
nice.
but so Kuma does that. He just boom, 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 goes through them, and then they just see like how he's defying the quote unquote pre-programming. He's defying the will that's imposed on him. He's defying like everything that was taken away from him because of like this instinct, because that's how strong of a will he has. And I would like that. I think that moment is probably going to be something for like Stussy, Lucci. Like Lucci's another one, because Lucci, it's like a like not Stockholm's, but like there's a certain kind of loyalty that I think you and I both have like said this, like progressively throughout the story, it seems like Lucci should not be on that side anymore. Considering he got fired, he should have taken revenge, and then all of a sudden he's back with CP0, no explanations, and now he gets reintroduced questioning the world government. And so it's like, I think there's so many characters on Egghead that have uh a questionable, not questionable, they don't question their loyalty, but they should question their loyalty because it
They
doesn't
are
align with their
questioning
will.
right now.
Yeah, and Kizaru fits in that, right? He
Oh
doesn't want to
yeah,
kill his friends, but then he sees Kuma, who's like, where Akainu's literally like confused. Like Akainu is seeing Kuma and is like, what is I thought you're not here. What is happening? Like, you know, and then Kizaru knows more of the details, so he sees Kuma go through all that and still achieve what he does there. He's gonna be like, damn, that's like, I think that's like it we talked about the ridiculousness of so many characters turning coat by the end of Egghead, and especially now, more on that box, I'm or on that boat, and I think Kuma is gonna be the catalyst. Like it
They're
wasn't
gonna see
one.
how bruised and battered Kuma is, and it's gonna be game.
Yeah, yeah, and then Kuma's gonna cry when he sees Luffy, and then they're like, all right, we got the code now. We know what to do. You
Yeah,
know?
we
Yeah,
got the message.
yeah.
All
Message
right.
received.
So
Pop.
on to the last parts of the chapter. We got
Yeah,
Bonnie using distorted future on our good lady Alpha. And she wants a future where she's more like Sun God Nika. So she
yeah,
whips out. People are calling this gear third arm, and it is, but at the same time, it's literally Nika's power.
yeah,
Especially when you go back to the first panel where she says distorted future. That's literally Luffy when he's boxing Kaido.
yeah. The muscle.
Yeah, that's like the muscle form. And it's like, yo, like she literally became Sun God Nika for a minute.
Yep,
It's so
yep.
crazy. Like at this point, I'm like, where do we how do you nerf this? Like, can she become anything? Like, imagine she says, "Give me a future where I'm like Trafalgar Law." It's like, can she mimic those powers to an extent? I don't know.
And that's so if you guys listened to last week's episode, I brought this notion up last week with her fruit and saying like, and I remember we watched it back on the stream and I was laughing because like I gaslit myself at the end. I was just like, who knows? Like, I don't even know. And then the next chapter, it literally is confirmed because again, when you gave me pushback, which that's why talking to you is so helpful, because like when you give that pushback, I can create like a better like understanding of what I'm trying to say. And the reality was last week, what I was saying was not canon. But this week it is canon, which is crazy. You hear what I said last week, and I was questioning. I was like, I was saying like in my version of her escaping, I was like, oh, maybe she masquerades as Alpha and she leaves and has a cipher pole, whatever. But the notion that she can transform into anybody was what I was thinking before. And you know, the Dowager was the main thing. Once we got to confirm that she has no relations to Dowager or Connie at all.
It's a hard one
Now,
to stop saying, huh?
yeah, yeah. Now that we know that she's not related to Connie, though, it's like that's when I was like, okay, so now we know that she can turn into anybody as she wants to. Why she wanted to turn to Connie specifically as a kid, that one is a little bit weird, but it's in the line of like, I want to be older, but nobody said you need to be like 90 years old and a raisin, but that's fine, fair. You escaped with the Queen Connie's body. And so the point being was that like and I talked about it, and my mods linked to the videos, but these are literally, and this is the video I'm trying to get out tonight slash tomorrow. um this is like very foundational for my theories, where like my first theory video was that like devil fruits and hockey are the same thing. Anybody can get a devil fruit like power. You don't need a devil fruit. Like think of the craziest power, someone can do it without a devil fruit. And you just need the proper training and understanding or desire. That was the like devil fruits are training wheels for peak hockey. That's what I explained in that one. And in that video, I spoke about in the context of a Logia. And then very soon after, I came out with a video called Devil Seed Users, who essentially they would be the seeds for a fruit, but they don't have the fruit. They are the precipice point, and that was like 2021. And I think that Bonnie is that. And so when you're saying, and this is a lot of people say this, is like, okay, so her power is she can do anything and everything, right? And the thing was, it's like the person that I thought we would get this from as well was Chopper. So in my Chopper video, I said that this is before the Nika reveal, and I think like December-ish before. I was saying that Joy Boy is probably going to be in a human fruit, and because Chopper has the generic human fruit, it's most likely that Chopper has the access to do anything that's humanly possible. And in the story of One Piece, everything is humanly possible, as per that quote. Anything you can imagine in reality is whatever that chapter 219 quote from that, like the physicist Willie Caron or whatever. And then we got the now Vegapunk lines saying that like it's all about desire. And so as far as how do you nerf it, I don't think it's nerfing it. I think what it is that everybody is capable of this. Every single person is capable of that. It's not a Bonnie exclusive thing. Now there might be a nuance, and that's what my theory video will also explain. There's like 3 or 4 parts to it, and 2 of them I haven't said, but the 2 main ones I have talked about on stream, talked about previously. One of them is one of the things I haven't talked about is the sapphire part, because I think I have that part. I think that's related. But as far as this goes, I think the way I see it is that it's not that like it's not that Bonnie particularly ate some kind of special thing. No, I think that many fruits can get the same thing. Chopper probably can do this. Luffy does this because he's the mythical Zoan, but he's a mythical human. The important part, and this is the part of the lore of Kaido's fruit that people like kind of forget or miss. They always bring up the carp turning into the dragon thing, but the way that story goes, it was a regular carp. It was a bunch of carps and one succeeded. And that one carp was rewarded by becoming and turned into a dragon. But what happens to that next carp? What if more carps got there? Why is it that only one made it, right? And the thing is, that was a regular carp. That means that every single one of those carps could turn into a dragon. And that same notion here, that means that every single human can be Nika, mythical human. You're just a mythical thing. And I think we're getting that with like the arc like Dressrosa, where God Usopp is a thing, right? His biggest nerf is he just doesn't believe in himself because he got gaslit his entire childhood, or even into adulthood because the village asked. But like the point being is that that I think that's the direction that we're going towards, where it's like, if you think about like, hey daddy, what did Nika look like, blah blah blah, and then Kuma goes, but they say this, Bonnie, his body was all rubbery and there was no limit to what he could do in a fight. There's 2 contexts, right? One is that like, if you had said that to 1,000 people, 100 people, I doubt every single person would imagine that's what a rubbery body would be, because like that's kind of the nuance of why Luffy was able to awaken it. So one side, you could say that maybe Bonnie, if she had the Gomu Gomu, could have awakened Nika. And then on the other side, maybe if you think about like Zoro or Sanji, he would never imagine. I don't think Zoro or Sanji would ever imagine, like, if Kuma said this to them, some dude's body was all rubbery and there's no limit to what he could do in a fight. I don't think Zoro and Sanji would use it like this. And that's very important, because it's like, right now Oda's making Nika like the pinnacle of imagination, freedom, whatever. So I think the pinnacle will be that every person's future, every person's timeline is possible if you want it. And so when she distorts the future, she's demonstrating the thing that Oda has been showing us in the SBSs, where in a good timeline, Ace looks like Shanks. In a bad timeline, he looks like Roger, but a busted Roger. In a good timeline, Zoro looks like Rayleigh. In a good timeline, Luffy looks like Garp. And like he does that with so many of the characters, where it's like, that's essentially what's happening here. But he's saying it's a good time. He didn't even say best timeline. He didn't even say the correct timeline. He's just saying a good timeline. We don't even know what that means, but that's why Oda gave those to us in the SBS, because he's preparing us for this, which would imply maybe in someone's oppressed timeline, right? Because that's essentially, I guess, the correlation between Luffy and Bonnie. They shared a similar childhood, possibly, and that's what allowed them to create a future where this is what they look like, right? And that's why they ended up mirroring, which goes along with what we were saying originally, that Kuma and Dragon probably have similar backstories, which is why their children probably end up similar ways too. And imagine, this is what freedom, this is what rubbery, this is what fun looks like, right? So this I did not think that this was going to happen. Chapter 1101 though, definitely historic. I thought it was crazy. I was blown away. Even this, like, I re-listened to what I said last week, and I was like, this is kind of what I expected, but I didn't expect Nika. Like, this is straight up just Nika, and she just pulled it out. I said alpha. I was taming my expectations, but at the end of the day, I remember back at my Chopper video, I said the audacious thing that, like, I think that, like, Chopper will be able to achieve anything that Luffy will be able to do. I think that anything that is humanly possible, because human fruit. But now I'm even further than that. I think that any human can do everything, and they just need to tap into and figure out what the mechanisms are. You know, it's this is the for me, this is gonna be the carrot for like the carrot that Oda holds over my head as he reads this story. Like we're probably not gonna get this until like chapter 1200, like a full revelation of what's happening here, but I'm excited. I'm excited. This was a great chapter. I even ended my stream early. I was like, I'm gonna,
I
I
gotta
need to
go
work
push
on
one
the.
out real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
Honestly,
Ooh.
like Bonnie getting this distorted future, like just imagine if she, what if she uses this distorted future on other people too? Like just
Yeah.
awakens it, turns everyone into Nika for a little bit, which is why I sent you that gif of like the Hinata wearing the QB cloak. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
technically she could just give this Nika power to everybody. Like nothing's really stopping her other than her own like limitations. But she's only 12 years old, right? Like I
Yeah.
think that's like the big nerf, right? Like she doesn't have that much energy in her. She's not at her peak yet. So
And that was also funny because around that chopper video is when I said, uh, I was expecting like before Gear 5. I was thinking like, oh, what if Gear 5 allows Luffy to rubberize his allies, so then all of his friends, and then I equated to Kurama Cloak, like giving
yeah,
everyone Gear
Kurama Cloak's
5.
iconic. It
Yeah,
was it was a pointless power up for 99% of the people who had it, but it was cool.
yeah. Whereas for Luffy, it wouldn't be. For Luffy, it would be such a different thing because in Naruto, not to like take us too far aside, they brute force the empathy, which this is doing naturally. I feel like the empathy of like what they did for the Kurama cloak was they also said like because the nature energy, everybody also gets Naruto's memories, and so they understood the traumas they caused Naruto throughout the. I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. We're in this series. This is gonna happen. But then for Luffy, or in One Piece, I think it's gonna come about a different way, where it's like being the way Luffy is, and I've said this, I forget which video. Oh, my awakening video. Like you give the Gomu Gomu to so many people and they'll never use it like Luffy because it takes a certain crackhead to like dodge a bullet. You know what I mean? Like to not dodge a bullet. Like even if you think you survive something, that doesn't mean you just take it. And for Luffy, he learned to take those hits, and it's just interesting because it's like what's it called? Like I feel like when the story gets there, and then I think we are gonna get the Gear 5 cloak on his allies and people are gonna be like, so this is what Luffy had this entire, like this is not easy. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna go through like the 10 years of training that Luffy did and be like, what the heck? But then obviously for it's probably gonna have like a function like they need to survive like the red line falling or something, and so Luffy rubberizes everybody and everyone just gets squished, and then the red line bounces or something, like some crazy thing, like the moon falling, like the moon falls on everybody, like Pain dropped the fake moon on Naruto, but like they held it up everybody with the sand and gravity or whatever. In One Piece, Luffy's just gonna rubberize everybody, like, and then that's how they survive it. And they're still gonna be afraid, but Luffy's gonna be laughing. Like, oh yeah, while they get crushed, Luffy, you just hear Luffy laughing his ass off. And then everyone's like, what? That wasn't funny. And he's like, yeah, it was. We lived. It's fine. Some goofy thing like that.
The
Some
good old
goofy.
One Piece gag.
Yeah,
Love
the
to
good
see it.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, how do you? So as far as Bonnie in this arc, where do you see her ending up? Do you think she's gonna join the Straw Hats? Like that's the age old question right there. Joining the Straw Hats, allied, with Vegapunk, Revolutionaries. Where are you at? I'm personally leaning towards Revolutionaries with Vegapunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as per last week, we asked the question, or no,
Yeah, we
I
always
asked
got to
for
touch
the
up on it.
devs. I just straight up, it was actually, if you guys go back to it's like 103:55, that's when we start talking about the Bonnie fruit thing. That's when I start talking about, but right after that part, if you keep listening, I asked us like the revs, and we were both like, yeah, it makes sense. And then as far as now that she's like Nika coded, like she has that, I think like seeing Sabo, getting the memories that Kuma's entire life was essentially devoted to the revs, to the point that now she sees that when she was a kid, and every time he was gone, it was freeing nations, right? She's going to see that he gave up his entire life that was devoted to liberation for her, and so she's probably gonna carry on the torch that Kuma gave up. And um I think that would be something that would make Kuma really proud too. Like that's something that Kuma would be really happy about. Not that he cares, right? But like I think that that would be a good end for the Kuma story, and then that's where Bonnie would essentially end up. As far as like importance, right? She's obviously going to return as an important thing, but traveling with the Straw Hats is like it's a hairy subject because I asked this question to a bunch of people, and this was a tough one, right? If Dragon doesn't show up to Egghead, right? Which there's a possibility, despite both of us thinking Dragon shows up. Dragon doesn't show up to Egghead. Does Dragon show up next arc? Right? Like that's a weird.
I mean, I feel like he has to. Like he'll show up eventually. Like we're getting so far in that he kind of has to, right? Like if
Okay,
it's not
so
like the farther we go on, the higher the chances we have of Dragon showing up.
so he has to, right? But isn't next arc like Elbaf? Like, isn't it weird if he shows up at Elbaf? He's
Oh
never been
yeah,
tied to Elbaf, right? So then it's like, then it's reasonable. Like, maybe it's not his arc next one. But if it's not his arc next one, but then when?
it's
And I
got to be
feel
the
like,
next one after that.
yeah, and it's like, how far do we keep pushing it? Because, like you said, we're getting close to the end, and I feel that way with Bonnie because, like, I feel like, and I said this before. I said that the most important thing about Bonnie, and now it makes sense too because all my theories kind of converge on Bonnie's thing, the Devil's Seed thing, a bunch of these things, and now that Oda's putting it there, it makes sense. But I also see a world where Bonnie's more important, whatever. And if she's at the Revs, then maybe she comes back with the Revs. But if we're saying that Dragon doesn't show up for the next arc, does Sabo? Does the other Revs? Do we wait for the Rev centric arc? Is that when Bonnie shows back up? And even if you don't think about it like that, then it's like, okay, if Bonnie doesn't show up next arc, surely she has a further down the line relevance to Celestial Dragons, right? Because Jinni's storyline, we don't get her story. We don't get the retribution now that it's there. The Celestial Dragons are still problematic for her. They enslaved Kuma. They did all the stuff. She has the memories. The buck doesn't stop with Saturn, unless it does. I don't think it does. But like Bonnie's story is a continuing one, and it's getting more and more important. So if we're closing down the storyline, then she should just stay with the crew because it's more convenient for the story. But I also feel like if she would join the Revs and come back, but then in my mind, that's so long from now, unless Dragon shows up at Egghead, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, the way I see it is Dragon shows up, he ends up recruiting Bonnie or taking Bonnie with him, Vegapunk as well. We say goodbye to the Straw Hats for a little bit, and then the Straw Hats go to Elbaf, maybe even the next island. And then come Final War - Marie Joie, we'll meet up with them again, and we'll get the continuation.
But
that's kind of how I see it.
My problem with that is we have the wild card of Morgan's existing. So like I feel like him coming into the plot line, which has to happen, and Egghead because he's on his way. I feel like his presence changes directions for something. And as far as Dragon goes, don't you feel it's weird if Dragon shows up and then they just like what they have like a post Enies Lobby Luffy Garp kind of thing where there's like sort of like they're like, you're my grandson, I'm your grandfather, and like so it's like there, but it's like 2 chapters, and it was fine for Garp, but like, and at the time because it was like an introduction to Garp, but like 1100 chapters in, it's not the same thing with Dragon, given everything that we got, for him to just show up and pick up Vegapunk and Bonnie. And then there's like not really a big thing with the Straw Hat crew. And then they go different ways, only like 150 chapters later to like reconvene. It's like, son, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's like a weird.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, it always feels strange until like it happens.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I feel like we say that, but I feel like when we've been predicting the weird things with the Dragon thing, and it doesn't feel not better. You know what I mean? sort of like with the Sabo stuff when we were saying like, oh, Dragon's probably gonna be blah blah blah, and then it was worse. Like he said weird stuff in the flashback, and we're like, oh, that's a little wonky, and it didn't feel better, and it's like still not feeling better. And yeah, I believe it's gonna feel better, but like, how long? If it's not this arc, if it's not next arc, if
Yeah,
it's not
I don't mind waiting. I feel like we got enough of Dragon in this flashback, and if he shows up on Egghead, that'll all be a bonus. Like it's all good.
yeah, but
Like
now
I don't think it has to be like a consistent thing throughout, but
yeah.
I mean it could. Like maybe Dragon comes with us to Elbaf. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm just worried. Every time Dragon comes down, I brace myself a little bit. But Kuma, I feel like the safest way for Egghead right now is just
Like
Kuma.
it's strange thinking about One Piece right now because it's in such a weird spot where by this point Oda already thought the series would be over, right? He was like, oh, give me 3 years, it'll be done.
Yeah.
And then here we are like 3 years later, and it's like on Egghead Island still. It's like, okay, it's not done. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
is Oda gonna stretch out Egghead? Is he gonna stretch out Elbaf? Are we gonna go to an island after that? We still have the world government, the Revs, Shanks. Like, there's still so much to cover.
Void Sentry.
Void
We
Sentry.
got God Valley, but not God. We got the Valley part. We didn't get the gods part, kind of.
Yeah. I consider that a part of like the Marie Joie segment, just the
Yeah.
Void Sentry and everything.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I just feel like there's so much left. So I don't mind pushing things away for now, like Dragon. I don't know. It's a weird one, but I feel like it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah.
It'll all work
Yeah.
out one way or another.
Yeah. I hope One Piece is in its good timeline.
Oh yeah, next week. So since there's no chapter next week, but it's also Jump Festa. Oda, every year he drops a page from the upcoming chapter.
Oh,
So Oda
yeah.
himself is gonna spoil the manga. So shout out to all the people who keep on saying that Oda, Oda doesn't like spoilers. Oda's spoiling it, bro. He loves dropping that page every week. So we're gonna get something juicy. Last year he dropped the Luffy versus Rob Lucci page.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That
who
was
knows,
always,
who knows what we get here?
that was always the funny thing. It's like, wait, like Oda is the spoiler, and
Yeah, Oda is the
as-
spoiler guy. He
like,
loves it.
People like say like they loved like, oh, you don't know what foreshadow means. I'm like, you understand that like foreshadow as a reader is not the same thing as foreshadow as the writer. Like for the writer, like especially Oda, he literally says like many times like I always foreshadow everything. And for him, it's not, he's just spoiling the story. Like
is.
yeah, it's just a long story, so he's like, oh, this is gonna be funny if I just do that. Like for him, it's a funny thing. He's just like smirking on the side, and it's just funny because like people kind of like, oh, Oda doesn't like. It's like, wait, like literally every year traditionally he just is like, you guys take the spoiler, like
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a guess as to what next week's spoiler is gonna be from Oda, which wait, I'm curious. How do you go about those? Would you like I know you don't like partake in like weekly spoilers, but will you do the Jump Festa spoiler?
I think last
Will you
year
take
I
a peek
did.
at it?
I said anything that Oda releases, I'm game for, right?
Okay.
Like,
So what do you think it's gonna be if you had to guess?
Okay. How did this chapter end? We ended with Bonnie leaving, right? But we didn't get the so we still have to. Oh, this is actually, last chapter we kind of talked about this. There's two worlds where Oda gives us a halfway point before Kuma on Saba Odi. There's a world where he got us to Saba Odi right at the end of this one. So basically, right after he saves the straw or sends the Straw Hats away, and then when he starts losing his will, that's, in my opinion, where the flashback ends. So that means that next chapter the flashback continues, and in my brain it ends where like it's essentially going to be the fading point where it's like he is in the operation room right after Saba Odi, and he's just like, here's my last message to you, Bonnie. I can't write this letter, so maybe one day this will reach you, or some like crazy sentimental thing that makes you cry.
So you think that's going to be the page Oda's going to leak?
It might be that one, or it might be Oda. And if that's the case, is two brains happening here. Oda could give us Egghead, so he could spoil that. Oh, we are going back to Egghead. He could do that, right? Last time, correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, he spoiled Lucci getting Luffy doing the wrestler WWE bounce off the thing off the pipe, and he was shooting towards Lucci or something like that.
Yeah.
And the chapter that we left off of, was that when Lucci was just like he handgunned Sentomaru, like it was just that, like Lucci was awakened, and the next chapter was the thing. Was that the way it worked?
I don't. You're almost there. I think it's slightly farther.
Slightly further.
Yeah. Let me
I'm
see.
forgetting
Me
exactly.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
I remember we
so-
already knew that Luffy was in Gear 5th before that.
Yeah. So like, and the reason why I'm saying that is because he in a in a similar note, didn't he say like this guy's gonna fight that guy, right? And then like, and then well, then and that was later, but then this one he spoiled the
Here we go. Okay,
that Lucci
I found
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Oh
how
no,
did
no,
you-
you're right. You're right. I thought. Oh, my bad. My bad. I confused Rob Lucci Shiganing Sentomaru with Rob Lucci using Roku Ogan on Atlas. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So
He handguns Sentomaru, and then Luffy's already in Gear 5th, so the next
Yeah.
one is just a continuation.
And so Oda decided to spoil us that they were going, like it was like a
Yeah, they're still
goofy
fighting.
fight,
They're still
right?
fighting.
And that was like an interesting thing because Oda decided to confirm like head cannons and like play it up like, oh we're getting crazy, you know what I mean? So Oda could do two
Yeah.
things where it's like either he chooses to hype up the Egghead, oh we're going back to Egghead, right, for the people who don't like flashbacks, or he could hype up like a Kuma thing.
You know, it's interesting because now I look at it, the panel that, or the page that Oda leaked, that was actually the final blow on Lucci 2. So Oda's not afraid of leaking the ending to a certain event. So yeah, maybe you're right, like ending of a flashback. If we go back to Egghead, where I was leaning towards is he would spoil us on the end of the actual chapter. But I feel like that would be too much.
Yeah.
I feel like giving us the final page would be too crazy.
It hinges on how much content he has. Because remember last week I was saying
Yeah.
like Oda did the crazy thing, right? Where we were both kind of right. He just showed Kuma just showing up, looking at Luffy, and the order was irrelevant, right? And so he was just kind of watching there. We both kind of felt that way, right? There's not that much content there, but that's a crazy. That's like had Luffy saw him, it's like why didn't Luffy recognize him? It's a very slippery slope of like what Oda could add to mess up the continuity of the story. Similarly, like he could still be messing around with that, but now if we go to a Kuma centric thing, there's so much he could do. Like after Thriller Bark, he could be like, he could have like a thing of like Kuma saying like, you know, Luffy found a good crew, like Zoro, he watched the whole thing, and maybe there's a reflection
Do you
page,
think it's
and
gonna be like a dialogue heavy page he's gonna drop?
or it's so like a hype thing, because people's favorite thing is nothing happened moment. It could be nothing happened from Kuma's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, so it could be like that should be in between us and Sabaody.
Okay, wait.
So many
Let's
moments.
make a bet. Okay, so where do you want to lock in your bet? What do you think it's gonna be? And we'll see who gets it closest to right next week.
Or 2 weeks. Okay, I think that it's gonna be a fan hype moment of Kuma.
Okay.
Man, I feel like it's a good thing in his.
Oh wait,
flashback.
sorry. Your mic cut off again.
Oh, cut off. Okay.
I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, he's gonna say. I was closing my eyes and I looked up and you were talking. I was like, oh god, I can't hear him. All right, go for it. Sorry.
It's gonna be in the flashback. I don't think it's gonna be Egghead. It's gonna be in the flashback. It's gonna be Kuma. It's gonna be Kuma. Post. It's gonna be Kuma post Sabaody, I think, and it's going to be end of it's gonna be it might be the last thing he remembers. It might be the last memory he has.
His final memory. I like that. Oh, what would be kind of cool is if we get like a Kuma post Sabaody and he talks to somebody we don't expect him to have a connection to. And I think that'd be sick too.
Yeah, so that's where I was hinging on, because
nice.
it's either right after Sabaody, because he has the 2 years of protecting the Thousand Sunny also, but that's memoryless, right? So
yeah.
So the biggest thing is that the last thing he asked for was to protect that. The last order he was given was to protect the Thousand Sunny. That was his last thing, right? So that's going to be the last line. But before that, it's like it's either that or it's right after Sabaody, and it's
Imagine it's
what you
another
said.
letter to Bonnie.
It could be a letter, but I don't
That's
think that'd be
another
a
letter,
hype.
dude.
I think
Yeah.
it'd have to be like a hype thing, like a connect. Like if he talks to Mihawk, if he talks to Shanks, if he talks to Shanks,
Yeah,
like that's
Shanks or
like
Mihawk would be big. Especially, I
yeah,
mean, we already know that he has a Mihawk connection that we just haven't seen, which is interesting, but
yeah. Like
yeah.
here's headcanon. Here's a crazy one, right? Big question we've all been wondering. Shanks and Nika, what does he know? Well, we know Kuma knows Nika, but we also like don't know where Kuma is with the Shanks side, right? Like he's this guy who knows everybody. Imagine that after Sabaody, he's just like he somehow like knows about Shanks somehow, like for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
a fan panel. It's Kuma protecting the Sunny and Shanks and Mihawk are on both sides, just sitting right with him,
Or,
pouring
or
one out.
or he goes to Shanks like somehow he's just like I saw the kid you gave the straw hat to or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
something or and my version of like the last panel would be like or not the last thing he remembers is the memory like seeing Luffy smile and thinking that's Nika. Like I feel
Okay.
like that would be the last thing
That
that
would be a
his
decent one.
consciousness
So
would
the
be.
page you're betting on is Kuma's last memory and maybe seeing Luffy and Nika.
Yeah, and if I
Okay.
were to if I was hedging my bets, then that would be like, the dream, like you boom, won the lottery, right? But if I was being a little bit more moderate, I would say post Saba Odi, pre Egghead return. And then, like anything outside that, I believe in, but like I feel like the hype would be there. I feel like the hype would be there rather than like but then there's also Oda's like cognizant that like people don't like flashbacks, like, oh, flashback
Yeah,
this
that
now.
so that's where I'm at. So my bet's gonna be that it's gonna be back on Egghead, and it's going to be somebody landing an attack on Saturn.
So if I were to do like a stock spread, and you said that to me, I'd put money on that just to hedge,
That's
like
no,
just
but
in case.
that's such a hard one though, because you have to imagine the chapter layout, right? Because we're still in the flashback, so we need like Bonnie a little bit in her adventure. We need Kuma's final moments, and then like maybe halfway, like three-fourths in, then we'll have Egghead, and then we have to immediately go to an attack. So I feel like my stocks are pretty low.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to say Dragon and Samba, but I feel like that'd be too crazy. I don't think Oda would necessarily go that route with no
Here's
like former context, but
here's something.
I think the hit.
Like if we were to go your route, as far as like a business marketing thing, Oda could do this, and it could be like a catfish thing where my headcanon was like, Akuma returns to Egghead, and he does like, obviously this part's a joke, but like it still happened without the joke, where Saturn's like, Bonnie, like I am your father, like the Star Wars thing, right?
Yeah.
And because Oda loves Star Wars, and then Kuma pops in, and is like, no, and I already said all that before, but like it could be that's the panel where it's like we see like a Kuma like silhouetted almost like behind a Saturn, like we just see Saturn's face, so we don't know if he's in his like devil fruit form, and so Oda could hype us up that way because then we don't know if is that the flashback or is that Egghead, and he could play it that way where it's like, oh my god, what's happening next week,
Yeah, what's
so
going on?
yeah, that'll be interesting.
I think
Hey,
it's gonna be
hey,
Saturn. Yeah, Saturn related is what I'm going for.
but we're both on the same page then that flashback ends next chapter and Egghead is
Yeah,
likely to come back because it'd be crazier to me if there's enough thing that Oda wants to put in between now and when Kuma loses his consciousness. Like I feel like adding stuff there is so dangerous, but like
yeah. I
but he
I I feel like it'd be kind of hard. Like I
yeah.
don't think there's that much like content left in the Kuma flashback.
Yeah, like we could see him take retribution on Alpha, like you burned all the letters, what or shredded them, like or he's just
Yeah.
like going through the bucket, like he's looking for Bonnie, and he's just like you see the letters pour through the cracks in his hands. He's like, ha, ha, and then he's just like it's
Oh my
fine,
god.
like some oh my god,
I'd
and
be
then like
so upset, dude, because that means that nobody's been taking out the trash. Yeah, like you gotta be burning that, dude.
no, why was he no?
Just
See,
burn the
okay,
letters. Like it's
Queen
gonna be like
Connie
old, wet,
kept them.
moldy, man.
She read every letter. That's what happened. She read every letter. She
Yeah, the
took
the page Oda leaks is Queen Connie. No, it's
re-
Gyogyo hype.
yo
Imagine it's Imagine it's Gyogyo versus Mihawk. That'd be huge.
Yeah, no, Gyogyo is like Jinbei is just like, oh, the senpai, like Gyogyo is just sitting on top of a throne. He's like, oh, what happened to
And then
young
a bunch
tiger?
of dead fishmen.
And then Mihawk is just like, if that man picked up a sword, he would be the strongest.
Gyogyo has he has a little bit of a Dragon Ball name thing going on too, because Gyogyo just means fishmonger.
Wait, would he be in the Frieza's was that the I forgot the team. Oh my god.
The Ginyu Force?
Yeah, the Ginyu Force. Like
nah.
I was just like, whoosh.
Nah. Because that's just Ginyu, Raccoon, Jace, Birder, and whatever the last is, Goldo.
Schemes.
They don't really have a name scheme actually.
I just like the Ginyu. Ginyu Force goes so hard.
I don't like Ginyu Force.
What? Oh my god.
I like the cooler Armored Squadron more. You know who they are? It's Frieza's brother. Frieza's brother has his own little group that has their pose too.
Yeah, they were cooler because they came after the predecessor, like years later down the line. Oh, I was gonna say Oda. Toriyama just looked at them and said, like, I'll make them a little bit better. But they're better because the Ginyu Force walked so they could run. I know what you're talking about now, though. Cooler was cooler. His name is literally cooler.
Dope.
His name is literally.
And then you had like the BoJack Boys too.
Okay, you're naming things, and I feel like you're just making up BoJack.
No. It's a movie. Dragon Ball Z BoJack Unbounded, I believe, is the name of it.
See, I watched like most of those bootlegged, so like I don't even like the legitimate names.
BoJack Unbound. There we go.
Yeah.
He had a whole crew, dude.
Was that the scientific one?
No. BoJack is like the world tournament guy who fights Gohan in Super Saiyan 2, like after Cell, I believe. Yeah,
no, I'm registering now. Yeah, because like I said, the versions I watched, like there was no marketing for it. The panels are all like the covers for the DVDs are all.
I think when you say scientist, I think you're thinking of either Dr. Wheelo or Android 13.
I just remember it was like a GT-esque kind of thing, but it wasn't GT.
Was it like a guy who becomes a robot, like he puts a brain in it?
I think so. Yeah.
That's Dr. Wheelo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good old Dragon Ball, man.
Yeah.
If only the manga was good, man. That manga's it's been awful. It has been awful. Unlike they're recapping the entire Dragon Ball Super movie.
Yeah, it's gross.
They've been doing that for over a year now, just recapping the same material. That's crazy.
Yeah. Man, One Piece is
if only One Piece did that.
I feel like One Piece has been delivering. Like this year like one of the best years of One Piece?
More or less. I mean, a lot of people don't like this flashback actually.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, are you one of those people?
No, I like the flashback.
Okay, good. I feel like I just need to ask.
I mean, I've been around since like, I've been around since pre-time skip reading it weekly. So, dude, it's like nobody knows like the days of Dressrosa, Whole Cake Island, Fishman Island. Like when people are saying this is a bad and slow and boring flashback, I'm like, brother, you don't shoot, man. Like you don't remember it. You remember Skypiea Weekly? Oh my god.
Besides like these
dude, Skypiea Weekly was cursed.
I can imagine.
Holy crap. Especially when they're going through the trials. Oh, dude, we got like zero progress. In some of those chapters.
Weekly anime, so that's more cursed, I think.
Oh yeah, weekly anime was bad too. I had the DVDs for that one, man, and let me tell you, they were great for falling asleep to. But I love Skypiea, but let me tell you, at the time when you were capped at a limit, it was tough. It was tough.
It's rough when you're a kid and you can only watch one TV. You weren't even allowed to watch TV, so you contrabanded One Piece off the like 7-part YouTube whatever.
Yeah, whatever, like watchop.com or something.
Yeah, something like that, and risked all the ads and viruses. Yeah, and the pop-up booties and stuff like that.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, and then you waste your time because the entire episode was just a PowerPoint slideshow that you could make better.
Somebody made a little chart of like One Piece, like not filler, but like the pacing of One Piece.
Yeah.
So like early One Piece, it was like, they did 1 or 2 chapters per episode. And then you can see like over the years, it gets worse and worse. Like Wano was like 0.7 chapters per episode. That's like, damn, dude.
1,500 minutes
of filler.
Yeah.
The Reverie was 0.5 chapters per episode. I was like, damn, how'd they pull that off, man?
That one made sense to
because
me.
they did a lot of like, hey, like if you don't remember Vivi, this is where Vivi's from, and then we get like the whole Alabasta flashback. Oh my god,
Marineford.
like they showed us the crocodile fight during that too. I was like, damn, dude, like
Yeah,
like, it's not even Vivi anymore, man. It's
I
crazy.
liked that version of it, but if the
Did you like
Reverie
it for
arc,
yourself?
I didn't need it, but I felt like it was like, as far as the directorship goes, Reverie arc kind of makes sense to do that because
Yeah.
it's an arc where you don't have the Straw Hats. So their logic as far as anime goes is like, we're not gonna make a movie without the Straw Hats. That's why like God Valley will never be a thing because Luffy's
Yeah,
not there.
that's not gonna happen.
Whereas like JJK proved the concept, like you don't need the main characters in the thing, you can still do it, but it's like they're old school. But Toei is not. We
Yeah,
need
Toei's a different
Toei.
beast.
Look at Goku. My guy wasn't even supposed to be the main character. We still have him live and kicking somehow. It's like, kill this man. Like, he's literally the equivalent of Superman in their series,
Yeah.
except a problem. He's giving sensu beans to the villains. That's how much of a tie they have to the IP. But like with the Reverie arc, it was an arc where they don't have Luffy, so they did a flashback to put Luffy in every episode. And so it made sense to me as far as directorship, but it also made sense to me because I liked it, because what they did in from memory was like they had Akainu reflect on like all this stuff, and then they went back to the Marineford to the Akainu specific moments, and it's like it really hits different because you recognize like how important like these things were to these other characters, even if you were
Man.
keeping up with it, right? Like it's like, oh wow, yeah, this really
I'm
affected
just
you.
I'm just wondering in like in a different universe, man. Like if One Piece was adapted by a different studio, like starting over from like episode 1, I wonder how different it would be.
And I think we talked about this
We
somewhere, but
have
like
it's like it's just like fanfic at this point, but man, if One
they could
Piece
auction
started
One
in
Piece.
if One Piece started in 2015, oh dude, it would be so different.
Like imagine this, right? At the end of One Piece, Oda does the crack thing, and we talked about
Like
this.
One
Like
Piece
Oda,
Kai.
not One Piece Kai, but Oda be the kind of crackhead that was kind of be like, take at it, go for it. I already made One Piece. Let's see what you guys can do. And he just like releases the thing and lets every studio
Oh
just
yeah, he's
take
like
a stab
Fortnite.
at it. Yeah, and then every studio just like, all right, we all am gonna try and make a one, and then you have a multiverse of One Piece where it's like, this is studio wit or whatever.
I
This
don't
is,
know about that
I don't
though,
know
because
if
then you get like
is
10
it
different versions
real?
of East Blue. No, no, no.
I don't know. It obviously not real, but I'm saying like
That's like what
that
Bob's
would be.
Burger does with their episodes, where they're like,
Oh
hey,
really?
like one, yeah, every for Bob's Burgers. I don't know if you guys know that cartoon, but
Yeah.
on their anniversaries, what they'll do is they'll have different studios or different artists come in and
Yeah.
they'll work on like 1 minute segments of the episode. So 1 minute you'll have one animation, then you switch over to a different style, a different style, a different style, a different style, and
Mm.
that's throughout the whole episode. And let me tell you, I hate it. I hate
Yeah,
it
I
so much.
wouldn't.
I actually skip those episodes.
I wouldn't
It's
do
so
it like
sad.
that, but like there's a certain nuance. Like, okay, so here's a good example. You and
Yeah.
me both read an article, right? And then we go to the 50/50 podcast, and then we both retell the story. Naturally, we both have this, we both read the same thing, but we retell it different, right? And I think that retelling part is a part of storytelling, right? That's how like the Bible,
But
that's
does it
how
have to
every,
follow the same
no,
like
it's their retelling.
oh, so
Yeah.
like I could write a story where Luffy's a bad guy, for example.
Oh, if that's, and then everybody takes a
I
stab
don't
at
know.
it.
I
I
at
don't know if
that
I'd
point,
like it, but I feel
yeah,
like Oda
at
would
that point, I
be,
feel like a two piece would be better. Just like a sequel or a
yeah.
prequel would be better at that point, rather
I
than
feel,
like, hey, here's the same cast of characters, but
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of flip the roles. It's like the Marvel What If. It's like, yeah, it's cool and all, but like I think
And
it'd be
that's
better
why
if we just had like a canon prequel or sequel.
I think Oda is more, not that, not, I'm not speaking for Oda and
But
saying he's more
yeah,
open to,
I
but
don't think
like,
Oda
especially
would
after seeing
continue One
Netflix,
Piece.
after seeing the Netflix way of going down it, it's clearly he's okay with taking extreme liberties with how the story goes for the sake of a end goal of some sorts,
Yeah.
right? But then on the other side of it, outside of Netflix, he has many mangas that he gives to people. So like, there's someone who makes kid stories. He let them do Chopperimon, and it was all the characters, and they were all in a school, and the Chopper's like a teacher or something. And so he's done that like many times
Oh yeah,
over.
that's what like I've been on the boat where Oda is like essentially training up the next mangaka for One Piece with that.
Yeah, but it's not even the same genre. Like these people don't care to be in shonen. Like they're doing
Oh
like
yeah,
there was a claymation guy who made like clay Straw Hat Crew, and I think they
cursed.
even told a story similar. And it's like I think Oda is on that frame of like storytelling where it's like stories change shape, and it's like, all right, you have what I said is the One Piece now. How would you tell this story, right? And I feel like that's a very important thing, like
Dude,
for
pretty
stories
crazy.
to like if you think of King Arthur, right? Like if you think of like the Knights of the Round Tables, there's no story. It's just a bunch of authors who kind of like took their own spin, and there's a popular few, but then some of them in modern times congregated into one story and adapted into one thing. So you got like a beginning point where everybody told the similar stories. It got written down. So many writers wrote it down, and then it became so popular to the point where it's like we don't even know if they were real or not. But the fiction became so tangible that like we can't necessarily say that it was completely fabricated, which is a wild place to be because that wasn't like Egyptians times. That was like 500 years ago and or 400 years ago and stuff like that. And that's why like King Arthur was like the 1300s to the 1500s. We don't, it's like some random time period there. They think they know where King Arthur's tomb is. They think they know where some of these the round table was, but like we don't know. And the way it got popular was because a bunch of people just told the story and took the liberties and made their own versions. And in
Yeah,
hindsight,
dude.
people,
If I was writing One Piece, bro, everybody would be dead.
everybody, JJK, One Piece
Yeah,
edition, right?
I'd be
Like,
like JJK. Dude, I would go crazy on the fights, the emotions. Like people are gonna burn fast, die fast. Like yeah, it'd
yeah,
be over,
yeah.
dude.
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying like there's a world where something like that could happen. But
Yeah,
One Piece Kai would obviously be the best timeline. Keep it One Piece, shorten
yeah.
it up, crisp,
Keep it One
crisp
Piece short enough.
animation.
Do like three,
So
4 chapters per episode.
especially in hindsight at the end of the series, we can then say no, Kinemon dies, Pell dies, like all these characters that
Yeah,
like
just
don't
kill him,
matter,
dude.
kill him. Like in Kai,
Yeah,
it's like
kill the characters, bro.
yeah, like Oda needs to run a popularity poll but in reverse, like
A
which characters
popularity
need
poll.
to
Who do you want to die the most?
yeah, in the One Piece
You know,
Kai.
that's essentially it.
It's not One Piece Kai, it's One Piece dies. Like
Yeah, there you go. But hey,
perfect.
thank you, Par, for joining us on this episode of the Parcast. I like I just took that name, the One Piece Parcast.
Yeah, I
It
mean
sounds
it's
good.
solid coming to the because I've been the biggest supporter of you reviving your old channels. Like, fine, you do something with it, and this
I'm
is
gonna do
perfect.
something with it. Who knows? I might even switch back entirely.
I mean, this is
Only
better
time
for
will
you, the
tell.
algo, but
Yeah, yes and no. It's hard.
yeah, it's
YouTube is
tough.
rough.
YouTube's
But
a
hey,
rough one.
thank you guys for stopping by, showing support and all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys next week or the week after that.
Yeah, or next
Stay
week, you
tuned
never
for the
know.
spoilers. Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
Peace out,
peace
guys.
out.